Let's get it. What do you say? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Monday, and welcome in. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate. What's up? Upstate South Carolina. Hello, America. Hello, world. It is great to be back with you again. I am Rob Brown, the great one. Colonel Grudge, hashtag Dad Kicks, the alpha and the omega of ESPN Upstate, the content cash cow, seated on the other side of the glass, both literally and metaphorically. Lonzo in the air chair with us. What's up, fella?
Welcome into the program. So glad you're here today.
Why is it so weird when you do it? Like when I do the NPR voice, it's hot.
See, I'm not trying to do NPR. I'm trying to do creepy guy.
Mission accomplished.
Thank
Fly
you.
the banner, ladies and gentlemen.
I got to do is throw a little bit of throaty bass in there. I'm trying to blow up the speaker in the restroom right now. It can't handle bass very much.
I don't know if we're on in there yet.
Hopefully someone is, in one of the stalls going, make it stop.
There's an Alexa in the I don't know, what do you call it? Joint restroom, shared restroom.
No. See, that would imply that it's male, female. It's not one of those. It's
Company upstairs
the
bathroom.
upstairs bathroom.
There's an Alexa in there, and there's not much more. If I had an ego, which I don't, absolutely don't,
because
I'm incredible, but I don't have an ego.
People in radio are extremely humble.
Yeah, I'm only as humble as I am good looking. There's an Alexa in there, and there's not much more that'll throw you off your game or put you on it than when you're in there taking care of business and you hear you start talking to you. Because the Alexa's on what? What we decide, like a 45-second delay? 45-second delay?
Yeah, we can say something here, then go in the restroom and then hear the last little bit of what we just talked about.
Yeah, the last 15, 20 seconds of a segment. And there's nothing like yelling over the last 15 seconds of a segment and then going in there and going, good Lord, I'm obnoxious. Man, I'm obnoxious.
And see, I say, man, that voice is, oh, that's me. Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is Monday. Thanks to Carter Bryant for filling in for me on Friday. I have finished the move, as is evidenced by the fact, Lonzo, that every time I stand up, my knees are like, nope, not today. Not today, Junior. You had me up and down flights of stairs for the better part of 14 hours over the weekend. You're going to pay for it now, son.
So now the true sign is if you're getting older is if you still feel that way next Monday.
I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and say I'm not better off but by next weekend. And the thing is, here's the part that sucks the most, is that I'm only halfway done, right? Like, I've got everything into the new place. The worst part about moving to me, though, moving boxes up and down, I can deal with that, right? Because, all right, that box goes there and that box goes there. The problem is now I'm in the new Casa de Love. Now I am ready to set up the man cave and the new Casa de Amor. And I got to go through 15 boxes of stuff in a room that's full of boxes of stuff. Suffice to say, ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited about the show all week this week. Because if I'm here, Lonzo, it means I'm not there. And I like being at the house. For those of you that don't know, I have moved in with the lady friend. She and I now share an abode together. She, Lonzo, is very organized and meticulous about where things go and them being in the right place. She's the person that when she's done cooking, before she eats, she cleans the cooking spot.
Yeah, I have to get on my wife about that. It's like, do you just like eating your food cold?
Yeah.
I don't get that. Eat food, do it afterwards.
Yeah. And this is not a complaint. I love her dearly. She's a great human being.
You should be afraid, though. You should be afraid, though, because the fact that she's so organized, if you had in your mind how you were going to do your stuff, if you don't get it done, it's going to be done for you.
Yeah.
And it won't be done in a way that you want it done. So
no,
that should be motivation right there.
Again, this is not a complaint. I love her dearly. She's a fantastic human being. I've outkicked my coverage dramatically. Last night, my birthday was on Saturday, And so last night, because tomorrow is Mardi Gras Day, even though I wasn't done moving and had stuff to go back and finish and clean and all that, I got home last night and she has made me a big bowl of gumbo and a pot of jambalaya. She's got Mardi Gras music playing on the Alexa when I get home from my last moving trip. Phenomenal human being. But she's very meticulous and organized. And if you've ever seen my office when Lonzo and I do streams from the office, I am not organized as a person. And it's one of those things that it's like, okay, I'm gonna get better at organizing to make her happy. Happy spouse, happy house. I'm gonna make this work. And then I get in that room and it's just chaos of 25 years of collected garbage. Right. And it's easy when you're sitting here to go, I'm just going to throw everything away. And then you got to go home and you got to pick up the stuff you're going to throw away and physically throw it away. Tough. Not good for me. So I'm excited about the show, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to get great work out of me this week because if I am here doing this, it means I'm not at home doing organizing, which I hate. Let's get the show started, shall we?
Let's do lunch.
This is a very nutritious lunch. All the food groups are represented.
You guys are here.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
The lunch breakdown of 3 things you have to know before you go start talking sports with your friends, family, coworker, or the dog, whoever you spend your lunch break with. I'm going to get to items 1, 2, and 3 here in just a minute. But before I do, I want to address a question that I've seen a couple of times on social media. Kevin just popped into the Facebook stream, facebook.com/ESPN Upstate, twitter.com/ESPN Upstate, or go to YouTube and search The Rob Brown Show. And project for this week, ladies and gentlemen, is to get the stream going on the website at ESPNUpstate.com. So you just be able to punch in the website and watch the stream. But I've seen this question pop up a couple of times and I wanted to answer it. Kevin Miller just wrote in and said, does losing to Clemson in soccer lessen Greenville's pro stance? And the answer to me, Kevin, is no. But there is an image problem that came. So for those of you that did not know, on Saturday, the Greenville Triumph played Clemson's men's soccer team in a preseason friendly, an exhibition match. Played up at historic Riggs Field on the campus of Clemson. The lady friend and I went up to that match. That's what I wanted to do for my birthday, and she's a good girlfriend, so she's like, yeah, I'll go up there with you. So we went up, we watched the match. We sat there with Chris Lewis, the president. We sat with Joe and Doug Irwin, the owner and the CBO. Talked to John Harkes, the head coach, before the match, a little bit about what we were looking for, etc. And here's what I want to say about it. I'm going to talk more about this later in the show because I think that was a tremendous moment in Upstate sports. But I wanted to say this about it because I got home and I saw that early last week, my colleague, my comrade in arms, my compatriot, Mark, said that there was no chance that Clemson was going to beat a pro soccer team in that friendly, that Greenville was going to go up to Clemson and win.
The national champion Clemson soccer team.
Reigning, defending.
No chance.
No chance. Here's the thing. Guys, it was a preseason game, right? It's a preseason game. The Triumph have, I believe, 3 guys on their roster right now that are trialists. That is to say, they're not on the team yet, right? They're trying to earn a contract. There's a limited number. There are guys on that Greenville team that were trying to earn a contract.
See, I was going to ask you if a friendly is in this case is like a scrimmage where you're working guys in, you're working through things, experimenting a little bit. I wonder how this lineup would work. I wonder. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
That's what it was, right? In fact, a number of starters, Tyler Polak, friend of the show. We've had him on many times. We'll have him on again because April 3rd is the start of the season, which means that in about 2 weeks, we're going to start back on our traditional Wednesday 1:00 Greenville Triumph segments. Tyler, who is a friend of the show, guy we've had conversations with off the air, Tyler did not play in that match, right? Starters did not play in that match. I mean, some starters did. They got some time. But this was effectively an experimental game, right? It was a preseason game. Lonzo, have you ever walked away from a Kansas City Chiefs preseason game upset and cursing the season because you lost a preseason game? No. The Detroit Lions once went 4-0 in the preseason and then 0-16 in the regular season. There have been multiple Super Bowl champs that went 0-4 in the preseason and then won the dance. The problem that you have here, and this is a soccer problem, the problem that the Triumph have with the image on this, and this is not disparaging at all because I was there, it was a phenomenal experience. Both from getting to watch the new lineup of guys, including some guys that may or may not be on the team in the first place, getting to see them try to come up with some new tactics and strategies under Coach Harks, etc., and getting to see the defending reigning national champions play some football. It was good stuff. But I think that one thing that happened here that I've seen some people dinging the Triumph, which I don't think the Triumph deserve. In fact, if anything, I think they deserve commendation. They deserve credit for what they did. I think what you have to look at here is that this was a preseason friendly. And a lot of people looked and went, oh, it's a pro team that can't beat a college team. The other angle on that is that college soccer players can be drafted to the pros and then stay and play in college, just like baseball, right? You can be drafted. I think there's 3, maybe 4 players on Clemson's team that are already ready to go under contract in pro soccer, right? It's a good team. And the Greenville Triumph did not throw their starting 11 out there as if it was a regular season USL League One game. You're going to see a different opening lineup, different tactics, different formations on April 3rd when the season opens. So, no, it doesn't diminish them. I think that there needs to be this. Let me put it this way, Alonzo. When people ask, why do you do local sports? Why do you cover local professional sports, right? Is there really an audience for that? Yeah, there already is, right? There is an audience for Greenville Triumph fans. In fact, last year, our most downloaded podcast segments were the Greenville Triumph segments. Our second most, by just a handful, were the Greenville Swamp Rabbit segments, right? But second off, I want those sports to grow. As I said a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about the new soccer stadium, I want this place to be a sports mecca. I want this place, as Greenville, as the upstate, Spartanburg, Greenville, Malden, as it continues to grow, and it is, and it will, but as this area, which is an incredible place, continues to grow, continues to expand, I want sports to be a part of that movement. Because Greenville is well on its way to becoming down the line a major city. And I want sports to grow proportional to that. Because if sports grow proportional to that, there is no reason that down the line, we don't end up getting bigger and bigger and bigger teams and facilities and events that want to be here. Last week, it was announced that the city of Greenville and the Southeastern Conference signed a 3-year contract to bring the SEC Women's Championship Basketball Tournament back to the Bonsa Corwetas Arena. It's in Nashville, Tennessee this year at the Bridgestone Arena. It was hosted, I think 3 previous years, including the year that I got here. That year, 2020, 2019, and 18. And then I think 3 or 4 other years before that, right here in Greenville. It's out of Greenville this year. It's in Nashville, Tennessee at the Bridgestone Arena. But it returns next year, and it will be here 3 consecutive years. Why? Because the Southeastern Conference has looked at Greenville and went, that's a destination. Not just a place, because here's the thing. The Southeastern Conference wants their women's basketball tournament to be an event, right? And in order to make it an event that people want to travel to, you got to put it in a place that people want to travel to. You got to put it in a place that people want to travel to. You got to put it in a place that people want to travel to. You got to put it in a place that people want to travel to. You got to put it in a place that people want to travel to. You got to put it in a place that people want to travel to. You got to put it in a place that people want to travel to. You got to put it in a place that people want to travel to. You got to put it in a place that people want to travel to. You got to put it in a place that people want to travel to. You got to put it in a place that people want to travel to. You got to put it in a place that people want to travel to. You got to put it in a place that people want to travel to. You got to put it in a place that people want to travel to. You got to put it in a place that people want to travel to. You got to put it in a place that people want to travel to. You got to put it in a place that people want to travel to. You got to put it in a place that people want to travel to. You got to put it in a place that people want to travel to. You got to put it in a place that people want to travel to. You got to put it in a place that people want to travel to. You got to put it in a place that people If you stick the Southeastern Conference's women's basketball tournament in Podunk, Georgia, where there ain't nothing but a basketball arena, not a lot of Lady Gamecocks fans are going to go, yeah, I'll leave the upstate. I'll leave Columbia and Greenville and Spartanburg to drive to Podunkville, Georgia. Not going to do it. They want the SEC women's tournament. They want the well sold out. They want a sold out arena because it looks good on TV. It brings more sponsors. It brings more people. It brings more businesses into the fold. And putting it in a place like Greenville, putting it in a place like the Well, gives it that edge, gives it that look. And I want the whole area to be caught up on that, right? I want people who come here for the SEC women's basketball tournament to get here and go, what are the Triumph? And look into them. I want them at the Well to see all the banner and the imaging for the Swamp Rabbits and go, what are the Swamp Rabbits? I kind of want to see what this is about. Because when that happens and Greenville continues to grow its sports along with its population, to grow its sports along with its size, then down the line, who knows, and it may be 10, 15, 20 years. But if this area continues to grow at the rate that it's growing at now, and in 10 or 15 years, it is considered a small major city or a large mid-city, who knows what's in the cards, right? Could there be an expansion professional team that ends up here? Could the Greenville Triumph be promoted to USL Champions League? Maybe 20 years down the line, the Greenville Triumph are an MLS team. Who knows? But in order for any of that to happen, local professional sports now has to grow in pace with the city, and that's why we do what we do here on the show. That's why your boy goes out of his way to cultivate relationships with the Triumph, to where I'm being asked to MC their events, to cultivate relationships with the Swamp Rabbits, where they've got me coming to MC events, to cultivate relationships with the Drive, with Furman and Wofford, with all these different schools and teams and franchises, because I believe that this place is a phenomenal sports area. I believe we are very fortunate to be such a fertile sports area. But the fertility does not guarantee growth. You still have to tend to these things. And if we can come on and have some fun talking Triumph, talking Rabbits, talking Drive, talking Furman, talking Wofford, talking South Carolina, Clemson, up to Atlanta, Charlotte, etc., this community benefits from it. That's why I try to get so involved and stay involved. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, the actual lunch breakdown. Also got a bunch of texts coming out about this, about the Swamp Rabbits, or excuse me, about the Triumph, about their match with Clemson. We're going to talk about that. I got some thoughts about the debut of Charlotte FC I'm going to share with you, but it's not all soccer, ladies and gentlemen. Got a lot of football talk coming, including if the Carolina Panthers can't trade for a franchise quarterback, and if they don't want to draft a quarterback with the 6th overall pick, there is one name being floated around in Charlotte right now that could carry the mantle of QB for the team. Who is it? I'll tell you, and why it's going to be a polarizing pick. That's coming up on the Rob Brown Show at ESPN Upstate. Look, when James Harden tries, he can still rack up triple doubles. Who knew?
Everybody knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everybody knew
Mm-hmm.
that.
Now, how long is it before he goes, I want out of Philly?
That'll happen if they battle the playoffs early. Or are they in? I don't know.
They are going to take on Georgia Southern on Thursday in the Sun Belt tournament. Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN
IGN gave the Batman a 10 out of 10 rating.
I saw. A lot to live up to. I still believe that there are going to be some fans disappointed because it's not the Batman they think they're going to see.
The Batman.
Because it's Batman year 2.
Yeah.
And I talked about this Saturday. He's going to make mistakes. He's not going to be refined. He's not going to have his character completely down. I mean, we know the Batmobile doesn't look like the Batmobile yet. There's just a lot of things. You know, the cave is probably only going to be partially done.
It's literally just a cave.
Yeah. It's just going to be,
That he parks
the be bats hanging out.
That he parks the Camaro that he glued fins on in.
But it's also filmed in a film noir kind of thing, and a lot of people don't get noir. I think the older audience probably will like it. I'm interested in the younger audience. Because in the end, Batman's a detective.
Yep.
The world's greatest detective. So
my mom said I'm not interested in Batman with the vampire kid playing him. I don't hold Twilight against the guy, right? If any of us were paid that much to act in a terrible movie, we'd all do it.
All right. So he also died in Harry Potter. I mean, there's that.
Did he?
You don't remember.
I don't remember. But I like
the cup.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Didn't realize that was him, huh?
I just didn't remember.
See, I prefer to think of him as that character and not the character from Twilight. And yes, I watched a couple of the Twilight movies because my daughter was young enough. She wanted to see it and I wouldn't let her see it without me. And then as she got older, it's like, yeah, I don't need to watch it with you anymore. If you want to see it, go ahead. My understanding, this movie is a lot about the villains too. So,
yeah, seen that.
And the makeup for the Penguin is just awesome.
Colin Farrell, right?
I'm pretty sure that I saw that Colin Farrell is getting his own HBO Max series.
Based on this?
Yeah, because everybody does. You know how that works. Watched Free Guy yesterday, by the way.
Good.
As a gamer, yes, you will enjoy it. As I told my wife, you're not a gamer. You're not going to get half this stuff, so we'll just watch it without you. You're just not. If you have to really explain what an NPC is, probably not the movie for you. I will be talking about it Saturday, but probably not until the second hour, Stephen. So, and it probably will be spoiler free because it's such a big movie. Unless, of course, I absolutely hate it in every way, and then I'll just spoil and slam it to pieces. That rarely happens. So. It's weird. We actually have someone famous going to see the movie with us.
Who?
Some award-winning dude.
That's you, man.
I said award as in singular, you know. Watch me never win another one. I hope that's not true because that would mean you wouldn't. And I wouldn't
Yeah, right. I hope you win all of them. So the Carolina Panthers are looking at who's going to play QB next year. We've been following that story for some time. It was initially a Deshaun Watson, he of the Houston Texans. Of course, those lawsuits really threw a kink into that hose. So that didn't work out well. Deshaun said, no, I'm good. I'm all right. I'll stay down here in H-Town. I would rather face 22 civil lawsuits in the place it happened than play for the Carolina Panthers. Ouch. Then, last week, the rumor got floated that Scott Fitterer and Matt Rule and co. reached out to another quarterback. Who was it? That they were willing to part with their 6th overall draft pick for Kirk Cousins of the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I said last week, I'll say now. Lonzo, you could do dramatically worse under center than Kirk Cousins. For instance, you could have Sam Darnold back there, just making up a name. You could do worse than Kirk Cousins. But Kirk Cousins is 34 years old, y'all. And I suspect Kirk Cousins ain't Tom Brady. He ain't playing until he's 41.
34 and scamming the system like nobody's business. Millionaire.
I mean, he's doing good enough to get paid, right? Do good enough that you're attracted to be a stopgap for a team for a couple of years and about $70 million. That's what Kirk Cousins has done. And that's exactly why he would have fit in. But he's not worth a 6th overall pick, ladies and gentlemen. You know it, I know it. So, that being said, there's a quarterback out there that is being floated right now as a potential 1-year stopgap, which does a couple of things. Number one, it puts a QB with experience under center. Number two, it puts a QB with experience in Matt Rule's system under center. Number three, it's not going to require the fattest contract, which means you got some room to finagle with the rest of the controversy you've got to deal with surrounding Sam Darnold's contract. Number four, it allows you to use your 6th overall draft pick to pick an offensive lineman or to trade back a handful of picks. There's going to be competition. I know it's not a QB-heavy draft, but there's about 5 teams that are going to be jostling for position to grab Pickett, Willis, Coral, or whoever their guy is. The Steelers are in that mix. The Saints may or may not be in that mix. The Washington Commanders may or may not be in that mix. Who knows? But it allows you to either pick your guy at offensive line at 6 or trade back to 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Gab you a couple of extra picks to pick more offensive linemen down the stretch and build an offensive line in front of this guy. With those hints out there, Lonzo, with those 4 items on the table, do you want to take a stab at who the available quarterback would be that Anthony Rizzuti of the Charlotte Observer is saying there is smoke on the water and fire in the sky about the Panthers potentially signing? Take a wild guess.
Cam Newton.
That is exactly right. That is exactly correct. The rumor right now coming out of the Charlotte Observer and Anthony Rizzuti, who I think is doing a good job. Try to get him on the show this week to talk about this. The rumor right now is that the Panthers, after being roasted for potentially taking Kirk Cousins and trading the 6th overall pick for a 34-year-old above but barely above average quarterback, save the pick, either get the guy or trade back for more draft capital, and let a guy who has played under Matt Rule's offense, Cam Newton, make a return. And this time, he doesn't have Sam Darnold in his back pocket. He doesn't have the old, 2 quarterbacks means you don't have one. It would be Cam Newton's team for one more season to prove that he's still the guy.
I have to dispute one inaccuracy in something you said earlier. You said Kirk Cousins above average. I think we proved last year that he's exactly average. Or last week, rather.
That's true.
He's completely average. He is. If you look up average, his record is completely average.
I mean, he's exactly 500. What is it? 202, 202, 2-2.
I want to say it was like 55, 55-2.
Yeah,
so it's probably more. Whatever it is. It's the same amount of wins, losses, and ties. So you can't get more mediocre than Kirk Cousins. I am not surprised by the Cam Newton news if that is true, because better crop of quarterbacks coming out next year. You'd have Cam for the entire training camp. You're also telling people that this is kind of a lost year, maybe. And you're also looking forward to your new coach that you're going to get next year.
So here's the problem, because you're right on all counts, but here's the problem. And this is what I talked with Rashad Beard about last Thursday. If you missed that interview, you can go grab it from the website, espnupstate.com, go to the podcast section and just scroll back to last Thursday afternoon, and you will find the recorded interview with Rashad Beard, edited down to easily digest in your daily schedule. You're welcome. The problem is, as we mentioned multiple times, Matt Rule has 1 year. He has 1 year left. You make the playoffs or you're gone. And the problem is the strategy dramatically changes when you know you're coaching for success in 1 year versus coaching for success for 10 years, right? If I know I have 1 year to make the playoffs, I'm going to orchestrate my team differently than if I know that I'm trying to win a Super Bowl in the next 7 years. There's a difference in the way that you attack that. If I'm looking at a 7-year plan, right, then that 6th overall pick at that point looks a lot more like I can take a young quarterback that I can develop, that I can push forward, that I can help grow into the system that I want him to be in. Versus if I have to win now, I might make a dumb decision, right? If I gave you the opportunity to take right now, Lonzo, Kirk Cousins or Malik Willis, long-term, who are you taking?
Well, I think rationally you could look at it and go that Kirk Cousins has been in the league a really long time. Yeah, he's very mediocre, but you know what you get with him. You don't know what you get with anybody you're drafting in college, but I'm not taking Kirk Cousins. No.
Right. If I'm telling you it's long-term, you're taking Malik. You're right. We don't know what we're going to get with Malik. I know the upside. I know the ceiling, or at least what I think the ceiling is. I know what the ceiling is for Kirk Cousins.
So
it's 500.
If the rumor were true and they're going to stick with Cam, what do you do with Sam Darnold?
You get whatever you can get for him. You find a team that is willing to take him off the books because they are worse off than you.
Well, what if they don't? What if no one will? You just keep him on the roster as your backup?
Man.
Okay.
Then you have the most expensive backup in the NFL. And you hope you don't need him. But he's there if you do, right? If I know I've got 1 year to succeed versus 7, if I got 7 years to succeed, then you better believe Malik Willis is the guy, or Kenny Pickett's the guy. But if you're telling me I got 1 year to prove that I'm the guy, Kirk Cousins is the guy, right? Because he knows the NFL and he knows the speed of the NFL. He knows the game. He's proven he can win. Maybe not as much as I'd like. But last year, 500 got you 1 game away from being in the playoffs, right? So if I can put him on a team that's got really good talent around him, that's not a bad pick. Not a bad pick at all. It changes the way that you attack. And I'll tell you, if I'm looking at it in that direction, yeah? If I'm looking at it in that direction, if I'm looking at it from the perspective of I got 1 year versus 7, guys, Cam Newton's not a bad get, right? It's not going to cost you $17 million. It's going to cost you 2, 3. You know that he's not crazy sought after because you got him last year. Halfway through the season, he was just available. And on top of that, while I know he's polarizing, and last time he signed on, about half of y'all were like, I don't want him here. Last he signed on, about half of y'all didn't want him to show up. The half that does want him there came out and showed out for Cam last year. And for a team that seems to have as much problems as they do getting people to put butts in seats, That's a spark plug. That's a guy people want to go watch play. Of the list of QBs that I think you should get, Malik's at the top. I would roll with a rookie quarterback next year. I absolutely would. Take the flyer because you don't know what you're going to get. I think he's more NFL ready than Trey Lance was. I'd roll the dice. But Matt Rhule's got 1 year to make it happen. He's got one shot. Cam Newton's the right call here. Cam Newton is the right guy to put under center. You don't have to spend on him like you would with Kirk Cousins. I argue that he's still got more in the tank than Sam Darnold does. Of the players that are available and the cost-benefit analysis that I am doing as we speak, Cam Newton is absolutely the right guy to put under center for 1 year.
Is it possible that Tepper has assured Matt Rhule that this isn't his last year, despite all the media, and has told him, hey, we're going to get a good quarterback in here next year. The crop next year is better than this year. You go ahead and stick with Cam this year, and we'll try to shore up the offensive line and some other things. You're good.
Is it possible? Yes, in the way that it's possible that I'm going to open the back door to work when I get off today and find $100 bill on the ground. Yeah, it's absolutely possible.
You very well could. The people down the hall that use that, they're a little careless.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's a possibility.
And they are known to carry around wads of $100 bills.
Well, yeah, you know.
I mean, it's possible. I have found a $100 bill on the ground before. Is it likely? No.
If you find it at work, do you tell anybody?
The problem with
outside
that
the door at work?
Problem if you walk up and down the hallway and you go, hey, I just found a $100 bill on the ground. Does it belong to anybody? Turns out that $100 bill also belongs to like 17 of the 18 people who work here.
Except for anybody on my level of employment. I
didn't say they were on this end of the building.
Yeah. Okay.
If somebody found a hundo and walked down to the talent side of the building and went, did somebody drop a $100 bill? We'd all laugh. Walk down to the other side of the building, 17 of the 17 working down there go, oh, yeah, that was mine. That was mine. I can describe it to you because I know what they look like.
Well, outside, you could justify that, someone dropped it across the street and it flew out of someone's window driving down the road.
Fair or foul? You find a $100 bill in the parking lot, it goes straight in the wallet. Fair or foul? Lonzo's really racking his brain on this one.
I think it depends on what day of the week it is.
No, fair or foul. We walk outside today. There's a $100 bill stuck under the tire of your car. It goes straight in the wallet. Fair or foul?
I am going to put it in my wallet.
Yeah.
And I'm going to send in a group email asking if anyone can prove it's theirs. And then I will keep it for a couple of days. If someone can prove that they lost $100, and if they didn't, then I'm spending it.
I like that because it lets you have the moral high ground knowing damn well no one can prove that they lost a $100 bill.
Think of the sob stories you get, though.
The only way you're proving it is if you just got them from the bank and you have the serial number of the dollar bill before and after it, that it would go in the middle. That's the only way to prove it.
And if you have that, I'm a little concerned that you might be doing a little laundering on the side.
No, I used to work in a bank. Sometimes you'll get the crisp break open bills.
But you talking about if you know serial numbers, that's a little weird.
No, I'm just saying, like if I just went to the bank and got, $1,000 in crisp new hundos, and the serial numbers are 607, 608, 609, 610, 611, 612, and you have 613, but then I have 614, 15, and 16, I can go, look, that serial number goes right here. It's clearly mine. Outside of that, unless you can come to me with that, that's my $100.
All right, you're just weirding me out, the fact that you just thought out. If I go to the bank and get a, $1,000 worth of $100 bills, what are you doing it for? Yeah.
We're going to Biloxi, son.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go do it if I can borrow a bank card of some of those talent people you were talking about.
All right, a couple of texts that have come in. Text says, Rob, I don't think Cam wants to go back to Carolina. I don't know that Cam's going to have a lot of options, but I do think Cam wants to keep playing, right? And if he wants to keep playing, why else? Why would you go anywhere else? Nobody's going to pay you more than Carolina. So why wouldn't you go to the place where half the fan base still loves you and still rocks the jersey? Text says, Rob, we may need to get you sent out for drug testing because Cam Newton is terrible. He's a cancer. That's funny.
There were some moments where Cam just looked like, what am I doing here? Or why did I throw that? Some things like that. There was remorse. When you see remorse, like you saw from him several times on the field.
Yeah, the dude wears his emotions on his sleeve.
Yeah, but this is different. This is not what we've seen from him in the past.
Well, I again, if you're going to tell me Cam's confidence wasn't a little shaken.
It's the same look that Ronda Rousey got in her face when she'd been punched so many times that she was done.
Kicked her
Yeah,
jaw off.
it's the same kind of look where you kind of lost your edge. You still want to keep playing, and you get out there and you start doing things you didn't do before, and you're like, okay, why am I here?
Cam or Kirk?
I'm still going with Cam Newton.
There you go.
Because there's still, I think, moments of magic left in there.
Your job is on the line. Cam or Malik?
I'm still going with Cam.
Okay, there you go.
If I can, especially if I can use the other draft picks and the other capital I have
to build offensive line.
To build an offensive line. Yes.
Absolutely.
And if McCaffrey comes back healthy, that's still a big if. But if he does, stays healthy the entire season, that's worth some wins.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. If your job's on the line, would you take Cam or Kenny Pickett? Cam or Malik Willis? Cam or Kirk Cousins? Or Cam or Sam Darnold? Those are your options right now. And I think Cam looks better in all of them. Chad in Fountain Inn says, Cam is not the answer. He's done if he plays all year. Panthers will be lucky to win 5. No way am I going that route. Chad in Fountain Inn. All right. So Chad in Fountain Inn, appreciate the text. Thanks for being a part of it. Cam or Malik? Cam or Kenny? Cam or Sam? Cam or Matt Corral? Who's your guy? Which one do you pick? Back after this on the Rob Brown Show, ESPN Upstate.
You got a Russian you need to
blocked.
Yeah, especially with the cyber warfare going on right now. You can take care of that.
Pardon us, stream. We shall return momentarily. Thank you for your understanding.
Oh, and comicbook.com are also praising the bat. I don't, still concerned. Although Spider-Man was praised and it was right. So
What time is it? 7 o'clock Thursday?
7 or 7:30. Can't remember. I think it's 7:30. Well, that song stuck in my head all day. I should have changed it when we went in there.
The lyric, I'm praying for the end of time so I can end my time with you, is a phenomenal burn. I hope the universe ends so that I can not have to deal with you anymore. That's a breakup line, man.
I'm just also picturing in my mind the sweaty video of him on stage and just
do you love me? Ukrainians are on TikTok uploading videos on how to drive abandoned Russian military vehicles so that they can just take them. That's amazing. So the baseball negotiations are going just swell. And by that, I mean, they're definitely not like at all. So yesterday they met one more time again. And it didn't go well. The good news is that on Saturday, it was reported that after the negotiations on Saturday, the players left and were having conversations asking if they should even return to the negotiating table on Sunday because they were so far apart with the owners that they're like, hey, we're not getting anything done. Do we even need to show up, right? Is this even worth our time? Remember, today is the deadline that Major League Baseball has said a deal gets done today or we start canceling games. And their hostage here was, like everything else in this negotiation, dinero, money. They told the players, if we don't have a deal done by today, by Monday, by the end of business today, we're going to start canceling games and canceling your paychecks that would have come from those games. So you'd have thought that this weekend we'd have had great progress, right? Because the unsaid part of that is when they say no deal by Monday, we start canceling games, and that means canceling paychecks to players, is that also means that the owners lose revenue. They lose ticket sales of sold-out stadiums. I'll tell you right now, do you think there was going to be a hotter ticket in Major League Baseball than opening day, the first home game for the Atlanta Braves wearing gold jerseys and dropping the banner as your 2021 MLB World Champions? No. Those tickets would have been gone for $200, $300, $400. And I got to tell you, your boy would have probably been there for opening day, right? I love those kinds of memories. I'd have been there for it. But now that's getting pushed. They're losing money too. So you'd have thought both sides would have really wanted to be sitting at the table on that day to talk it out, to figure it out. Saturday, they made so little progress that the players were talking about not showing back up on Sunday. They did, fortunately. And there was even the slightest bit of progress that was made. Ultimately didn't go anywhere because the smallest bit of progress were being made on issues that have been effectively called non-starters by both sides, right? The owners were at a point where they were ready to give a little ground on the draft, instituting a draft lottery. The point of instituting a draft lottery would have been to de-incentivize tanking, right? Selling off your entire roster in order to create a really bad roster so that you can lose a lot and enhance your chances of getting a top draft pick. Going NBA style and putting a lottery in so that the worst teams are still have the best odds, but it doesn't guarantee you a number one pick, and giving some incentives not to tank out. That is on the players' list of wants, but like not at the top of it, right? It's way far down on what the players are looking to get done. The players, on the other hand, are going in there and trying to make deals on the Super Twos, and I've been asked what that's about. I'll explain that later in the show. But I've been asked about making progress on the Super Twos, and the owners are like, cool, man, but that's not a priority for us. That's not what we're here for. That's not one of our big deals. So you got two sides, fortunately, at the negotiating table talking about it. But the two sides are at the negotiating table talking around each other's least important aspects of the negotiations. And here we are, deadline day, games getting canceled day, opening day under fire day, and we've made no progress or very minimal, almost pointless progress. How much does this matter to baseball fans? There was a poll on the weekend that surprised me a little bit, and I'll tell you why when we come back. I'm Rob Alonso, and this is ESPN Upstate.
Hey, it's Charlie James, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative solutions that can restore and repair damaged tissue with no surgery and no drugs. This is the relief you've been hoping for your aching knees, hips, shoulder, lower back. The unique protocols at QC Kinetics were created by a physician with years of study in regenerative restorative medicine. They're treating patients every day in hundreds of clinics nationwide with remarkable success, life-changing results with zero downtime. It's the new, better, smarter, non-surgical, non-invasive way to deal with joint pain. And yes, they're right here, ready to help you right now. Call them for a free consultation. Make this spring and summer your best ever with no joint pain holding you back. QC Kinetics in Greenville and Asheville, 864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772. QC Kinetics.
The madness begins here. Make sure you're at the Harris Cherokee Center in Asheville, North Carolina, March 3rd through 7th for the Eagles 2022 SoCon Basketball Championships. You don't want to miss the action as your favorite SoCon teams compete for a championship and a berth in the NCAA tournament. Book your travel and tickets by logging on to SoConHoops.com or by contacting the Harris Cherokee Center Asheville box office. The madness begins them and get your Upstate golf carts now to play courses including The Rock, Greer Golf, Pebble Creek, the Club at Brookstone, Rolling Green, and more. Order at upstategolfcart.com. 10 rounds of golf for only $99. Upstategolfcart.com. Upstategolfcart.com.
No one wants to cut corners on a good night's rest, so why sleep on sheets that are just good enough? If you dream of comfortable sheets that are types that won't keep you up all night, look no further than Boll and Branch. Boll and Branch makes the softest organic sheets on the market using 100% sustainable raw materials. As the first fair trade certified manufacturer of linen, you can feel as good about your sheets as they feel.
Yes, Stephen, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie, including what you're talking about.
Quality over quantity, because higher thread counts are not always better. Their signature
I've seen.
lightweight organic cotton.
I was gonna watch it this weekend, but Courtney wants to watch it, so we're saving it till we get done with the unpacking. But I've seen some of the clips and it looks amazing, like hilarious. I saw him pull up Cap's shield, which was pretty funny. What studio is that movie from? Because I saw it's like, is it a Disney movie?
It's on Disney.
Right,
Yeah,
but is it a Disney movie?
I believe so. That's not the only Disney franchise that's represented.
That's
so
what I've
yes.
heard. Yeah.
Not to mention a bunch of different video game type nods. I mean, it's not as extensive as Ready Player
Yeah.
One, but still, there's some cool nods in there.
All right, clean up a couple of texts because we are up on it. Texter says Kirk all day, no Cam for a 6th round pick though. That's what you. It's not just Kirk or Cam. It's Kirk and you don't have a 6 overall pick, right? Or Cam and you have the 6. Cam can't stay healthy either. He's washed up. If the Panthers go that route, they'll be making another mistake. They could have had the Bears QB last year and didn't do it. That will be the one thing that gets Matt Rule fired over anything else. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show, ESPN Upstate.
Holding their conference tournaments this week. That includes the SoCon tournament where Furman basketball is the 2 seed. They'll play their first game this upcoming Saturday. They're going to match up against either Mercer or Western Carolina. Wofford basketball also with a first round bye. Their first matchup will be in the second round as well when they are going to take on VMI coming up on Saturday. South Carolina Upstate, they were able to get a first round bye in the Big South Championships, and they're going to match up against either UNC Asheville or Charleston Southern coming up Friday in Charlotte. And Coastal Carolina, they are going to take on Georgia Southern on Thursday in the Sun Belt tournament. Download the Score app today, lightning fast sports alerts, so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
Have you heard Offsides with Mark Ryan?
Coach Jason Brown, you know. Oh my God, I feel awful. I got Coach Jason Brown shushed at a GA Squirrel match.
The Upstate is talking about Offsides with Mark Ryan now 3 to 7 p.m. on ESPN Upstate. And now a message from your smart speaker.
I know you're out there, touching things again, but who was there for you when you didn't want to touch anything? When all you had to do was ask, and you got all the information you wanted from a trusted source.
Still the best way to stay in touch with Upstate sports happenings.
Go ahead, touch your nasty phone. See if I care.
On air, on your smart speaker, or any smart device.
And don't give me any of that it's not you, it's me nonsense.
This is ESPN Upstate.
Warning. And check this out.
For an official Rob Brown lockdown.
Represents real.
Yeah. Real, unfiltered Western sports talk manufactured locally for the Carolinas. This is the Rob Brown Show. Yeah. Only on ESPN.
ESPN Upstate.
Remember back in the day when we used to play backyard baseball? Lonzo, do you remember the term ghost runners? You ever heard that term?
Yes.
Okay. So ghost runners, for those of you that were never children, ghost runners was when you were playing backyard baseball. And it'd be like 3-on-3, you know? Ghost runner would be when you got a hit. If you didn't have enough people to actually run the bases, you'd have a ghost runner. And the ghost runner basically stood in place of your actual runner. So ghost, runner on first, ghost runner on second. And whatever happened to the ghost runner was a result of the next hit. So if you grounded a ball to third and they touched the bag, the ghost runner was out. If you pop one out to outfield, the ghost runner could tag up or stay. You had to call it as it was happening. Well, Major League Baseball, in their negotiations with the Players Union, has been asking for an expanded playoff format. And they have floated multiple thoughts on it. They have proposed both a 12 and 14 team Major League Baseball playoff. And the players have been not fans of the idea, right? More teams getting in means more series, means longer series, means more work for them in the postseason to be champs. Players Union has largely been against it. So Ken Rosenthal just tweeted out a second ago that one of the proposed ideas from the Players Union in order to negotiate allowing the owners to have their expanded playoffs, but not at the risk of adding tons more games, was this: a ghost win format. I know, Lonzo just went, huh? Like Tim Allen back in the day. The union proposed a ghost win format that they would accept in a 12 or 14 team plan. And basically, it would mean this. We have the wild card round now, which is a best of three series, right? The union proposed that in the best 2 of 3 wild card round, the division winners playing wild card teams, Lonzo, would start with 1 win on the books. So in a best of 3, the home team, the division winner, would be at home for every game and would start with 1 win, meaning that it effectively comes down to a 2-game series. If the home team, the division winner, wins 1, it's over. They've got 2. The wild card team that has to play the entire series on the road would have to win back-to-back road games in order to take the series away from the division winner. I got to tell you, Zoe, I don't hate it. I don't hate it as a compromise. I don't hate it, right? It is effectively the same setup as the college baseball regionals elimination round. The team on the lower side has to win 2. The team that's better has to win 1. It does a couple of things. Number 1, it incentivizes being a division winner, right? You don't want to go, we're okay with being a wild card team. Because being a wild card team puts you in a really terrible spot. You have got to go win back-to-back road games. If it's a true best of 3, you don't have to win back-to-back. Unless you lose the first one. But you got a little wiggle room. If you're in a ghost win situation, if you end up in a wild card instead of a divisional winner spot, you have 0 room for error. And it means you got to throw your best 2 in 2 straight. And if you make it to the divisional round in the second round, you're down your best 2 pitchers already because they're playing back-to-back days and they need their 3 to 5. You won't have them, which means you go into the second round having to pitch your number 3 guy in the opening game, and maybe you get your number 1 guy back for game number 2, where you're already in a hole probably, because the second round, you're getting their ace, right? So the league goes, we want 12 teams or 14 teams in a playoff. And the Players Association goes, we're good with that, but here's a compromise to create a situation where you get a high-pressure wild card round that may or may not make it to the second game, but creates a ton of drama, right? Because if you're, let's say, the Phillies, and you end up as an NL East wildcard team, and you're going up against the divisional winners of the West, you're going up against the Giants in round 1. The Phillies fans have got to be incredibly nervous because they got to go in back-to-back on the road at a division winner and burn their top 2 players in order to do it, their top 2 pitchers in order to do it, meaning that their bullpen is already against the wall in the second round. I think it's a good compromise. I like it. Major League Baseball owner said no.
Yeah, because it sounds like a gimmick. It doesn't sound like a proposal, a legitimate proposal. It just sounds like a gimmick.
I mean, it kind of is. It kind of is.
It sounds like something you do in Division III football or like lower tier baseball.
I mean, it is a little gimmicky. But if you want to add that many teams to the playoffs, right? You're almost, if you go 14, almost doubling the number of teams that make it in. And the players are going, yeah, we don't want to add 6 more games to the rotation in the playoffs when we've got to be at our best. It is already a strenuous enough effort, right? Even if the entire wild card round is at home for one team, that's still a lot. And now you're asking for 2 additional series. So we accept the 2 additional series, but we want to make one a more high pressure elimination where one team has the ability to go out and end that thing in 9 innings and move on. You're still getting 14. And what is more dramatic for you? What is going to put eyes on screen faster than the Phillies have to win back-to-back on the road? Every game is an elimination game in the first round. Every game is an elimination game. That's incredibly attractive to me. I love it. Elimination games are the best games, right? When one or both teams is staring down the end of their season, if they falter, that's where you get the best sport. Pick a sport. But the point here is that the players are coming to the table with a solution that they go, you get your 14. You get your 14 or your 12, but you get your 14. You get your extra round. You get your extra series. You get your extra teams. You get your extra games on TV. We are making them more dramatic, which means you're going to get more eyes on them. What's going to get, sincerely, what's going to get better ratings? A 2-game elimination where every game in the wild card round is an elimination game, or game 1 of a best of 3? The elimination game is going to get more eyes. Just by default, people are going to be more interested in it. Any lose and go home game gets you more eyes. That's just how sports work. So the Players Association came to the table and said, here's your 14-team format. All we're asking is the ability to knock 1, maybe 2 games off the opening series, not the first 2, the opening series, and we'll meet you halfway. And the baseball, they went, nah. Those one or 2 extra games per series are a breaking point for us.
So they actually thought the staunch traditionalists, the people who do not want to change the game ever for any reason, would do something like this. Someone, when they put together this proposal, they actually thought it would be legitimately considered.
I mean, again, Ordinarily, this is where Rob would love to go. Old hat baseball fans are the ones who are stagnating baseball, right? I did that last week. Took a little heat for it. Old hat baseball fans stagnate baseball. The folks that refuse to let baseball upgrade and change are the ones who are driving young people away from the sport. And then they go, how come nobody likes baseball anymore? Because it's you won't let it change. You won't let it get better. That's why. It's real simple, man. It's real simple. This isn't old hat baseball fans. This is billionaire owners going, I want to squeeze every red cent out of this game. I want every dime I can get out of this game. But don't get me wrong, I get it, right? I did have to laugh a little bit last week or the week before, end of the week before, beginning of last week. It's all a blur. But I had to laugh when Rob Manfred made the argument, well, you know, guys, owning a baseball team isn't really a lucrative endeavor. Shut up. Shut up. We literally have the financials that prove that it is. And I promise you,
and if you're rich enough to own a baseball team, you're rich.
Yeah. You're not doing it for boats and giggles. Okay? If you are a billionaire, you don't buy a baseball team as a toy. Right? You don't buy a baseball team so that you get good seats. A $1 billion PSL. It's not how it works. Billionaires buy baseball teams because they make money off the baseball teams. Rob Manfred, you know why nobody likes you? Because you're just lying to our faces again.
I know this kind of hurts the point, but if I was a billionaire, I would buy a team just so I could have good seats.
Right, but if you were going to buy a team to have good seats, you wouldn't be a billionaire because that ain't the mindset of a billionaire, right? Like, I've spent my money on some really dumb sports seats to have good seats for an event. Last season, went over to a Braves game with a couple of buddies. Went up to Fenway Park with the lady friend. Both times, spent far more than a responsible amount of money on tickets. Why? Because Rob wanted good seats to the 1 or 2 games he was going to get to go to. I wanted good seats. That is also why Rob doesn't have 6 figures in a bank account. Because when he gets to the point that he's got some money, he goes, you know what? I want to make a memory. And I'm going to pay a little extra to make sure it's the best memory I can have. That's why I'm not a billionaire. Dad and I elected to work in radio, but that's why I'm not a billionaire. All right? If you buy a baseball team, you are not buying the team so you get luxury bar treatment in your private suite. If you wanted that, do you know what you'd buy? The private suite. You just buy the suite. So, that being said, my thought here becomes Rob's lying. Manfred, not me. I am a truth teller.
Thank you for clarification. Yeah. Yes.
Rob Manfred is lying. They are trying to squeeze every dime out of this that they can. And again, it's a business, right? I think we all sometimes kind of forget that professional sports are at their core a business. Those guys aren't out there playing because they love the game of football. They're out there playing because they make a lot of money to do it. Even the ones that aren't making a lot of money. You know, only $500,000 a year to play a child's game. It's a business. And I understand that they want to make as much money, the owners. They want to make as much money out of it as they can. Of course they do. Of course they do. But the players aren't playing the game for fun. They're not doing it for free. They're doing it to get as much money out of it as they can as well. And they have far less earning opportunity than the owners do. It's just how it works, right? Their shelf life is short. So the players coming to the table with creative situations here, right? Creative solutions. Sometimes you can't be an idea guy. You got to be a solution guy. They come to the table and go, we got your 14-team format right here. And the only thing we ask is that you give us the potential to shorten the opening series by 1 or 2 games. That's it. That's a solution. It puts eyes on TV. Yeah, it's going to cost the owners 1, maybe 2 playoff games, but you're getting a whole nother series tossed in. And more owners are going. More television games are being created, even if you get back to 1 or the 2, and the owners are going, no. We're good. We're good. We want those 1 or those 2. They make the bank for us. They make the difference. That's again, there is no point in negotiating if you are not negotiating in good faith. If you come to the table knowing you're only going to put X on the table, and you put X on the table, and you tell the other party, I'm willing to negotiate, but you know that you are not moving off of X, you're not negotiating, you're selling. You're not negotiating. You're just telling. You're talking at that point. You're selling. And that's where the owners are. They're not negotiating. They've come to the table and said, for us to sign this CBA, this is what we want. We're not going to give. Well, then what are we doing here? That's why the players left Saturday night and went, do we even come back? Or do we just take a couple of weeks worth of break to everybody go home, think, retool, calm down, and try again? That being said, here's the good news. The good news here, if there is any, is that they are meeting again today. And so far, according to Jesse Rogers of ESPN, they have been in these meetings for coming up on 6 hours today, which is the longest that they have sat in one consecutive meeting throughout this entire bargaining process. And there are some talking heads out there in the world of baseball insiders that say they actually believe a deal's coming today. I don't. There's just too many things that have to be negotiated for me to believe that they're going to get out of there in the next 3 or 4 hours, having met in the middle on all of them. I think opening day is getting delayed a couple of weeks. I don't think it's going to be a travesty. I don't think we're going to end up not having baseball till July like I did a few weeks ago. But I'm not looking for a deal today. It can't happen. They're just too far apart. Let's take a break. When we come back here in just a minute from right now, speaking of rules and rule changes, is there one coming down in the National Football League pipeline that we, and by we, I mean I, have been asking for some time? The Colts have proposed a massive rule change in the NFL. I'll tell you what it is when we come back. I'm Rob, he's Lonzo, and this is ESPN Upstate. Hey, Ron. My daughter went to a tournament with the varsity team as a freshman, started all 3 games over this. Nice. Good for her.
Hey, look at this. Have you ever seen this?
Congratulations, Steven.
The bottom thing. Oh.
Bottom thing?
What?
Oh, mute the conversation.
I
want that option.
Yeah, this is the first time I've ever seen it. I don't want to mute the conversation, but I've never seen that before.
I like the power of having the option.
Is this a new thing? Did this just start?
Well, I don't have an iPhone, so.
Yeah, I've never seen it before, so that's kind of cool.
Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
Have you heard of We'll get to onside and offsides and so much more. The update is talking about offsides with Mark Ryan now 3 to 7 p.m. on ESPN Upstate.
I'm Chelsea Messenger helping you beat the books with BetQL. The madness begins in the NEC, Central Connecticut at Fairleigh Dickinson. The two teams split the season series after you won the first meeting in a landslide. A week later at CCSU, they lost in overtime. But let's dive into that box as he's third leading scorer and the second leading rebounder, John Square Jr. Didn't start and played just 3 minutes. The left end really threw your hand.
I'm worried that mute button would actually also be a Russian hack scheme.
What?
Would also be a Russian hack scheme. I hit mute and suddenly. Because that just makes way too much sense. How many conversations have you been in that you're like, man, I just want to be out of this?
I'm just not doing anything on the internet until it's over.
Except work, you know.
Yeah, right.
I was even reluctant to buy that game Saturday because of that.
Did you buy a digital copy? Starting off the week with a win.
And it downloaded suspiciously fast.
Yeah.
Yes, Tayshawn, it is. And I've been grinding, I don't know, put in like 6 hours Saturday and played all day Sunday and part of the night.
The grind is so rich. See, I will say this. I don't mind some grinding to level up, but if it becomes where the grind is the game, that's where you lose me.
Well, the grind is not just about leveling up attributes. It's also finding things that you can't just go and make your weapon better.
Right.
You have to find
materials or whatever.
You have to find grindstones and something else. I forget what else it is before you can even use a forge.
Yeah.
So I mean,
playing as a sword
samurai.
Or
I am a samurai.
oh, that's right.
What? All right, dude.
Hey, Tayshawn was going ham on that game. Golly, where you at?
I'm only like 15, so I mean, you know.
That's why the grind is real. It's playing. Oh, you can. Oh, it's multiplayer.
It is multiplayer.
You can party up.
Yeah,
you know?
but they've had a lot of problems with multiplayer over the weekend on launch. So Cameron has it.
Drop me your. Is it cross-platform? You know.
I believe so.
Tayshawn, drop me a. It's an exploit. What is playing with friends?
Now I got.
Maybe that's why it was acting up. It's a bug. Ah, well, that sucks.
No, what he's saying is you could probably level up quicker if you're playing with somebody
gotcha.
else.
Well, if it is cross-platform multiplayer, Tayshawn, if you want to email me your handle, robbrown@espnupstate.com, I'll jump on and play with you. We got to play. I got the Xbox set up last night in the new place, so now it's going to be alternating unboxing stuff / playing late at night after she goes to bed.
I'll be texting Cameron here in a few minutes and telling him, get ready. We're playing tonight.
I might jump on tonight then.
If I can level
Do
up.
a few hours of work, and then I might buy it. I might buy it.
My understanding is I think you can play with 4 people.
4?
Well, 4 total.
I fought a boss dragon. You get 75,000 experience 3 times. How Skyrim-y is it?
Skyrim's controls are easier and it's not as difficult.
Yeah.
This is hard.
Yeah.
There is no, they're hard to beat.
Yeah. Rob Brown at ESPN Upstate. If you want to drop me your handle, I'll jump on with you for sure. See if we get Lonzo in there with us too.
If I level up, I'm for it.
Yeah.
I need some leveling up.
We'll be running around naked with a level 58 player.
There you go.
It's gonna be like that South Park episode of World of Warcraft. There it is. You gotta wait for the kick, man. You can't talk before the kick. It's one of those unspoken radio rules, Lonzo. You can't talk before the music kicks.
When I pick the music, I'm listening for that too.
Yeah.
It's like, man, that'd be perfect right there. There's a liner or something else. You can't help but do that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an unspoken radio rule. Nobody ever told me when I was growing up, not to talk before the kick. Nobody ever told me that. You just, it's kind of like.
Yeah, but you're a musician though. So you're listening for that. And you're also, you sing. I think doing that makes you wait for certain things.
There's a few songs where the artist will come in before the kick, but it's always different than the singing, right? You might have the artist like the guitarist playing by itself and it comes on and he's like, yeah, now we're going to get into that smooth jazz. And then the kick, and then he sing. It's the same thing in radio. You got the kick. There are unwritten rules of life. Yeah. Like Lonzo. Here, I'm going to TMI you, ladies. I apologize in advance, but every dude, Lonzo, instinctively knows the rules, the unwritten rules of what urinal you go to when you go into a restroom, right? If you go in and let's say there are 5, like you're at the stadium and there's 5. If there's nobody at any urinal, Lonzo, which one do you go to?
One on either end.
One on either end.
Yeah, you do that.
Absolutely. If you go in and there's somebody that's already at one on the end, which one do you go to?
The other end.
The other end. If you go and there's 5 and there's one and people at both ends, which one do you go to?
You hit the middle.
The one in the middle. Nobody ever tells us these things.
Does it bother you though when there's an entire wall of urinals, you're in one, and the guy walks up to the one right next to you? It's just a little bit like, dude, you got all that. Why, what you up to?
I'll put it this way. Like, I'm secure enough in my masculinity that I don't care, but there's that lizard brain part of me in the back that's like, that's not the rules, man.
Well, there's
You're
that.
breaking the rules.
And it's a little weird. It's just a little
You're
weird.
breaking the rules.
Yeah.
Like, all right, cool, man. Like, I don't care.
But it's
don't
not
be creepy, but I don't care.
It's not something that you pass down to your children.
Tells us this.
Yeah, you just know.
Mm-hmm. It's all instinct.
I never took my son aside and said, "Okay, let me talk to you about when you go in the bath."
Right.
No, you just do that.
And nobody ever teaches us. Here's the rule of picking the correct urinal. We just do it. Even as kids, we know if there's 5 and nobody's in it, you go one on the end. If you go in and there's 5 and somebody's at one on the end, you go to the other end. If there's people on both ends, you go to the one in the middle. If you go in and there's people on both ends and one in the middle, that's where you now go to one of the ones next to people. It is what it is. At that point, you don't hold up the line to wait for one where you have a buffer zone. You suck it up and you go to the one that's open.
Right, and you also don't walk up and have a conversation.
Right,
especially in a pub. Here's different. I mean, if you're at work, I get it.
If you know somebody,
yeah.
Right? Like if I know you, all right, whatever. But like, if I don't know you, wait till I'm washing my hands, dude. Right? It happened to me one time at a remote back in Destin, where a dude elected to like, oh, that's Rob. I'm going to start a conversation while he is in hand at the urinal. It's like, oh, you're Rob Brown. I'm like, yeah, and I am holding on to Rob Brown. So maybe stop. Maybe just like, let me get to where if I'm washing my hands, I don't care. If I'm drying my hands, I don't care. If I just walked in the restroom, I don't care. This is the 30 seconds that you aren't supposed to do this. Just hold up. I will happily talk to you. Just give me a minute, right? Nobody ever tells us the rules. We just know them.
Well, and if you're doing it wrong, if you don't have that instinct and you just heard this for the first time, you're welcome. Because now you know how to do it right.
There is not a man listening, right? There is not a dude listening out there right now that doesn't know these rules. I promise you. And it doesn't matter.
There are some crazy people out there, Rob.
Maybe, and listen, there are people who just want to watch the world burn, and they break there is a social contract that we all live by. You don't have to like the social contract, but if you want to be out in social, there's a social contract we all live and die by, right? If you need a chair from someone's table, you ask them, is this chair being used? We all do it. No one ever teaches you these lessons. You just know to do them. That's the societal contract we all have to live by. And in the bro version of that, and it doesn't matter race, creed, religion, orientation, none of that matters. There are rules to urinal selection etiquette. There's no class. Your pops might have told you about the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees, but he never said if you walk in, here is the process of elimination by which you select the urinal to use. But if I walk in, Lonzo, to a restroom and there's 5 urinals and somebody is standing at number 2 or number 4, I judge that person immediately.
Yes, you do.
Why'd you pick that one? You have just eliminated 2 available urinals because I got to go to the end, and the next guy that comes in, he's got a decision to make.
It's selfish is what it is. Yeah, it's very selfish.
Now,
you could point out it has to do with the insecurity of that person, or it could be arrogance going, okay,
that's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna be alone up here till I am done with my business.
There are people who know, we all know the rules. My dad never gave me the urinal selection etiquette. You just know them. It's born. It's thousands of generations of urinal using men. And their instincts via evolution has been honed into all of us to know which one to pick. But there are people out there who are like, I'm going to break the societal contract just to see what happens. Urinal trolls exist because they like to see the discomfort on the faces of the other bros that come in as they go, oh man, I got to take the one on the end. But now 1, 3, 4 are open, 2 and 5 are taken. So whoever the next guy that come in, he has to be next to somebody, and he doesn't have to be, but now he has to be because of the one guy who's like, I'm not playing by your societal contract.
Here's a counter to that. Go stand behind that guy.
I will tell you, if I walk in and somebody's at number 2 and 1, 3, 4, and 5 are open, if you're at number 2, you're trying to make it weird, I'm going straight to number 3. Not only am I standing next to you, I'm going to the one in the middle, so the next guy is going to go to number 1 and make it all. We're all going to be in line. We're going to be broing out together. If you want to break the societal contract, I am going to full Michael Scott it. I'm going to make it as awkward for you as I can.
Feel free to make noise too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I'm striking up a conversation. Is this where everybody comes to hang out? Making it as weird as I can.
That should not be funny.
Texas says all rules are immediately thrown out in packed bars of sporting events. Yeah, if there's a line for the bathroom, the choice is the next open one.
Yeah, but there's still unease. Everyone in there is going, man, there's just unease.
Look, if it's a bathroom, I don't care. I got to go. That's the spot to go. It is what it is, right? Saturday, I'm up at Riggs Field at Clemson. Triumph v. Tigers. I go to the restroom with like 3 or 4 minutes left before halftime. I go to the restroom, 3 or 4 minutes left until halftime. Nobody's in there. There's 5. I pick number 1 because, of course, I do. The game's over. I want to hit it on the way out before I get in the car for the hour drive back to the Casa de Amor. I go in, there's a line. Okay, next one open, that's where I'm going, right? And that's when you put the stalls into use as well. Don't go in the stall if there's an empty urinal and all you got to do is drop a number 1. That is for number 2ing purposes only, unless there's a line, in which case it becomes for number 1, right? We all know these rules. Some people just want to watch the world burn. And this is what happens on this show, probably far more than some people are comfortable with, maybe even Lonzo. I don't know yet.
Oh, no, I'm good. I'm there for the chaos. As long as we hit breaks on time, I don't care what happens in between.
Texture says, I always feel if I use the short one, some small person will randomly walk in to be offended. Listen, if one on the end is a kid's urinal, you let that be, unless there's a line, right? The line is the great equalizer. If you walk
a
in,
kid can wait in line too.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, if you have to, you have to.
If there's a line, then the short urinal's in play. And I don't care about your kid. He can wait in line. He's got to learn his lessons on being an adult too. But if I walk in,
it's called bladder control,
right,
kid.
If I walk in and 1 through 5 are open and 1 is a small urinal, I'm going to 5. If 1, 3, and 5, or if 1 through 5, or if 1, 2, 3, and 4 are open and number 5 is being used and number 1's a small, I'll go to 3. Still got the buffer, still leave the far end open, but it's for a kid, right? But if there's a line, no. Your kid's not, he didn't just go to the front of the line. He got to learn to be a man too. Texture says, all rules are, oh yeah. If there's a line, that's a great equalizer. Rob, people who are afraid to converse at the internet are usually self-conscious about their small manhood. It's just, that's my private time, man. But I'm not worried about it. I'm not going to describe what I'm packing, and I don't need you to know. I don't care. If I know you and you talk to me, I don't care.
Why do you feel the need to talk to someone? There are some people who can't do two things at once. So if they're talking, be a matter of concentration.
Yeah, and listen, there's a difference between dude rolling up and being like, what's up? All right, cool, I can live with what's up. It's when dude rolls up and he's like, hey, what do you think about that game, huh? Aaron Rodgers playing his mind out right now, isn't he? That's a conversation. I'm not here for that. Hit me outside. I'll talk to you outside. I'll talk to you and wash my hands. Texas says, I was in a public restroom with Rob this weekend and heard him say, is this okay? All right.
Proofreading sometimes is a must.
I mean, I knew where that text was going when I started it. I just didn't know if it was going to be included. But also, yeah, bathroom dad jokes. Dad jokes aren't limited to the living room. All right.
We're talking about depth and temperature.
It was a play on the concept of hanging out in the bathroom. We'll just leave it there. When it comes to stalls, I try to keep it biblical. I'm a 1 John kind of guy. Look at him. And ESPN, everyone leave Lonzo alone at the urinal. He might lose a groin.
Definitely one of the places where you can lose it.
Let's take a break. When we come back, I'm going to actually get to that NFL rule change proposal that I teased and then didn't pay off because we had more important things to talk about, America. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show, ESPN Upstate.
Keeps their stadium running smoothly from the moment the first game starts to the last play of the season. At Grainger, we're our MVPs, and we're always here for you. With supplies and solutions for every industry, 24/7 customer support. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents.
Hey, Rob, what was your email address again?
Rob Brown, no space, ROBBROWN at ESPNUpstate.com. It is not liberob@commie.com. Cajun boy, welcome in. What's happening, fella? Good to have you.
Are you tempted to look up Little Rob just to see if it exists?
See if commie.com
Again, probably
exists.
not the time to be looking for that. So suddenly there are guys in black suits at the front door going, hey, we'd like a word with you.
So switch to Progressive and save big because those savings can add up in the future. As Casualty Insurance Company affiliates, national annual average insurance savings by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive in 2020. Potential savings will vary.
Creamy nut butter makes it delightfully sweet. Roasted nuts make it perfectly salty. Get 2 great tastes in one delicious bar. Enjoy a Nature Valley sweet and salty nut bar today.
Do you want the best for your car? Then fill up with premium at Circle K. Circle K Premium is our best fuel with double the cleaning detergent, protecting your engine from corrosion and damage so it can work at its best. And that, my friend, increases your mileage for more cha-ching in your pocket. Plus, when you fill up with premium at Circle K, you can save up to 20 cents per gallon. Offer valid Thursdays or Fridays at participating stores. For details, visit CircleK.com. Circle K, how convenient.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $700 on average, and those savings add up.
So yeah, I used the savings from switching to Progressive 50 years ago to finally buy my dream car. It's a self-driving flying
That T-shirt. Love it.
After a great week last week.
I told you, man. Once you started talking about it, it was like,
Yeah, but I'm the king of adjustment. It's all physics after all.
I'm Christine Lisi. This just in, FIFA and UEFA have suspended Russian teams from European competitions in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. A major change at the top for the Marlins. Derek Jeter announced he's stepping down as the team's CEO after 5 years, said the vision for the future of the franchise is different than the one he signed up to lead. Labor talks continue for an 8th consecutive day between Major League Baseball and the Players Union. If there's no new CBA by the end of negotiations today, opening day March 31st will be canceled, along with potentially a week's worth of games. A new contract for quarterback Kyler Murray would be in the best interests of the Cardinals and Murray. That today from a statement released by the
Bow to the pouting. Go ahead.
Set a contract to Arizona that includes financial protection for Murray and is in line with the current quarterback market.
Texas says the bathrooms that have the pictures of ladies laughing at your junk looking down give me emotional damage.
I've never been to one of those places.
Oh, you've never seen those before?
I'm guessing it might be a bar thing.
It's 100% a bar thing. All right, let's get to some football in here, ladies and gentlemen. The Indianapolis Colts have submitted a proposal to the National Football League Competition Committee that would change the overtime rules of the NFL and guarantee that each team would get an overtime possession. If the rule proposal was to go through, the rule change would apply to both the regular and postseason. Rich McKay, chair of the NFL's competition committee, said the possible changes to overtime will undoubtedly be brought up when the committee meets this week. According to Judy Batista, teams may propose overtime changes for solely the postseason or for both the regular season and the postseason. It is unclear whether there is enough of a league-wide consensus to alter the league's current overtime format. Obviously, after this year where we had a couple of different games where one team won without the other offense touching the ball, including the Chiefs' overtime win over the Bills in the AFC divisional round, the argument from many very intelligent and good-looking people was that it kind of sucked that Josh Allen didn't get to touch the ball in overtime. Kind of sucked that the guy who was playing lights out and putting on one of the greatest quarterback duels we have ever seen in the National Football League, we didn't get to see the quarterback duel continue into the
play better, score more points, then you're not in a tie. Whoop-de-doo.
You know my favorite thing about that argument is? I love the concept of Lonzo, the offensive coordinator, walking into a team and going, all right, guys, we're ready. Here's my strategy for today. Let's score more points. Yeah! Love that concept. Love that idea.
So you're saying that
OC Lonzo with the brilliant idea of score more points.
You're saying that's not a valid scenario. It's not something that you should shoot for.
And Josh Allen looks up and goes, damn, coach, didn't think maybe we should score more touchdowns. Hadn't really taken that one into consideration.
And then he'll hit the bench. That's how I work.
Yeah.
There ain't no stars here.
Lonzo's
hit the pine, dude.
Lonzo benches Josh Allen because he only scored 42 and not 43 that would have won it. Unreal, Josh Allen.
I'm old school.
How hard is it to score one more point in an NFL game?
I'm going to throw a real world experience in there because I know management loves when I do that. They're okay with everybody else. But let me just point out, one time I pinned a guy in the first round, like in 45 seconds. I got in trouble for pinning him too fast and had to do 100 squats after the thing. So you know what? I mean, I have no sympathy for that
guy too fast.
I pinned him too fast. Yes.
Your coach was dumb.
No, my coach was had won the city championship before he retired, like 30 something years in a row.
So your coach was
dumb.
Al Bundy.
No. He was a.
So why do you get penalized for pinning him too fast? See, you don't know.
I know. I was experienced, and I should have went out there and put on a show. And instead, I went out there and he was really hairy, and I just wanted to be out of there.
Your coach was dumb.
No, not dumb.
Yeah.
Not dumb.
Yeah. Sorry. All due respect to Mr.
Lenny Ball.
Sorry, Coach Ball. That's dumb. You won too good.
He's also in a Hall of Fame. So, I mean,
that's fine.
You know, I just.
But the argument is you won too good.
You're missing the entire point.
Don't win that good.
I mean, you know, score more points. Do what your coach tells you.
It's hard to score points when you can't have the football. That's kind of tough.
See, and it can be thrown at me because it was your quarterback, but it happened a couple years before. Mahomes didn't see the ball. Tom Brady did. Mahomes lost.
And
you know, Kansas City lost. And
thus was born.
Those are. Oh man, come on! He played at Michigan. Let's go a lot further back.
Of anti-Brady zone.
Yeah, the anti-Brady person that I am started long before.
Look,
but now he's retired, so who cares about him?
So the Colts have officially proposed to the competition committee a rule change where both teams would have to would get a shot at the football.
But then everybody will complain about that too. I mean, you're not going to make everybody happy. There'll be some flaw. There will be some flaw to it.
You know who you should make happy? Most of the people. And I think if you asked people last year at the end of that game, would you have wanted to see Josh Allen have his chance to go? Because again, he still had to score to continue that game, right? You can leave the score for score back and forth argument in place. I'm good with that.
I know this is the risk of making some Bills Mafia people unhappy, but maybe he just wasn't good enough to win the big one.
But we won't know because he didn't get the ball.
You know what? If he would have scored more points, though, he would have won the big one. There is no perfect way to do this.
No, but there's a better way. There's a better way.
By the way, I'm okay with both teams getting the ball. I'm absolutely okay with it. I'm okay with the college rules. But whatever the rule is of the day was put there, complaining about it doesn't change it when you're in the season that it's going on. All the whining about, well, if Josh Allen want to get, you know what? The rules said he wouldn't get the ball if he didn't win the coin toss.
But the argument
You know what?
The argument is
pick the coin flip better. Send someone out there who's better.
Better. The point is, you're right. We can't do anything about last year. Do I wish we could go back and do it again? Yeah. I still think the Chiefs probably would have won. But would I have wanted Josh Allen to get the ball? Of course. The argument here is let's not let that happen again. That was bad, and we should stop a bad thing from happening. I don't know that there's a perfect way. I think the college football system is probably as close to perfect as you can get. A lot of people don't like it,
why is only one team bringing this up? Why aren't they all in unison going, we need to make this change now? It's because all the teams don't believe that.
Because the league doesn't want the overtime rules to change.
Right.
The league likes the rules the way the league likes the rules because, and we've told you this in the past, the overtime is designed to get the overtime done and over because the next game's coming up and we don't want to miss TV time, right? Because for every ad that is supposed to be run while game 2 is waiting to get on TV because game 1 is 15 minutes deep into the overtime clock, the NFL loses money. The proposal from the Colts here is for both the regular and postseason. Now, the Colts can repropose the rule and only do it for the postseason. And to be honest with you, I'm probably cool with that, right? Let's just do it in the postseason.
That probably has the better shot of making it through.
100%. Because you got less chance of games stacking on top of each other when there's, 35, 45 minutes buffer between playoff games. Absolutely has a better chance of going through. And I hope that they repropose it that way if this rule won't get traction. Remember, the Ravens back in, 2019, 18? Actually, it may have been 2019-20 because I think I was here when it happened. But the Ravens proposed a rule change where they wanted a spot and pick method. So the team that won the toss would say, we want the ball put at the 50-yard line. And then the other team got to pick whether they wanted to play offense or defense first, right? So the Ravens could go, we want to spot the ball at the 30-yard line going in. And then the other team got to pick if they want to be offense or defense, which would have ultimately resulted in every team wanting the ball to start at the 50, right? But then we play by the overtime rules. That thing got shot down immediately. And I think it's because teams didn't want to be gambling on it. All this rule is let's play football, which I think benefits everybody, right? Because if you go to overtime with Patty Mahomes and the Chiefs, you know they're putting at least 3 up. I want a chance to match it, to do the same if they score 7. I think it makes sense. It's silly to me that this is the way it is. As it is, this thing ought to go through unanimously. Let's take a break. Come back, wrap up hour 2 after this. Rob Alonzo and you. It's ESPN Upstate.
Didn't want you to have to reach that far.
I appreciate it.
I got you.
That's why he's award-winning, ladies and gentlemen.
Forecast on ESPN Upstate. For this afternoon, we'll see mostly sunny skies with a high temperature around 58. For later on tonight, clear, low of 38. And then mostly sunny on Tuesday with a high around 65. I'm meteorologist Nick Carlisle.
Meteorologist?
Right now it's 56.
ESPN Upstate. All bounces. We've got your hookup on your radio at 97.7 FM in Greenville and 97.1 FM in Spartanburg. On your computer at ESPNUpstate.com. On your phone or tablet on the Odyssey app. On your Amazon smart speaker.
ESPN Upstate.
And on your HD radio at WFBC HD3. In the car, in the office. So many ways to get in the game with ESPN Upstate. All sports 24/7 for Upstate, South Carolina.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery,
What's up, everybody on the stream? So we got a couple dozen people watching. I like it. Thanks for hanging out with us. For you newbies, welcome. So the Klitschko brothers, who are heavyweight fighters and were very good at it, have joined the Ukrainian defense. Could you imagine being the Russian soldier that turns a corner going house to house, clearing houses, and coming face to face with one of the greatest heavyweight boxers walking planet Earth?
Would definitely be a conflict of interest, especially if you are a boxing fan.
Right?
When your RV really needs saving, Progressive has you covered. See if you could save with a leader in RV insurance. Progressive Insurance Company. It's covered subject to policy terms.
Saving at the Home Depot means you can do more for less. Like making dishwashing easier with this kitchen.
It's weird not having a Disney or Star Wars show to watch each week. They timed that thing wrong. They usually have something joining like 2 weeks later after they're done.
What is the next thing coming? Moon Knight?
I think so. When is that coming? '30th.
30th? Okay.
Saving at the Home Depot means you can do more for less. Like making dishwashing easier with this KitchenAid dishwasher, complete with third-level rack and a Pro Wash cycle that adapts to each load. Enjoy savings on top-rated appliances online, in-store, or on the Home Depot app.
Talked about the MJF promo Saturday because I was going to, and people were asking me if I was going to, and that thing was everywhere on social media. I don't know if you noticed, it was everywhere.
Yeah. They deserve to be.
And he is still in his comments playing the face side.
Yeah. So either
I think the biggest swerve would be is if he did actually just turn.
Yeah.
Because
See,
everyone's got to expect him to do something.
But how do you? So here's my question, because I agree. My question is, what does a face MJF look like?
I don't know. You
Because
got
like
Russian.
everything that makes him great makes him a heel.
You have
Kind of
yourself
like
a,
it's kind of like the premise of what does a heel Cena look like? Right? Exactly. Like
economics, I guess. You got another Russian on your thing.
And blocked.
There you go, Ruskies.
If you're a valued customer, you deserve a simple gesture of appreciation from your credit card company. And that's why Discover matches all of the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year. Discover. Exceptionally common sense. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply.
Made for upstate sports junkies.
Texas says ESPN, you know the NFL is going to bleep this up and they are going to do some dumb boat like only in the playoffs. Look, I will take new overtime rules only in the playoffs. I would prefer them be regular season and postseason. I prefer it. But ties in the regular season absolutely do play a role in playoff seeding. But if it's a start, right? If we put it in the postseason and this rule was to get used as it would have, what? Certainly in the Bills-Chiefs game. I think there was one other one that it played out that way as well. And it makes those games better?
Or maybe we just decided to try it in the XFL because that's what it's for now.
Well, we're still a year and a half away from that. I don't want to wait. I don't want to have another game where I come in here complaining like I did last postseason. 1 hour left. We hit it hard when we come back. Rob Lonzo, it's ESPN Upstate. So the rumor is that the first Germany game will be Tampa Bay versus Kansas City.
Interesting.
A number of conferences holding their conference tournaments this week. That includes the SoCon tournament, where Furman basketball as the 2 seed. They'll play their first game this upcoming Saturday. They are going to.
I don't know with the current world climate, if it stays the same way it is, will there be any international games?
South Carolina Upstate, they were able to get a first-round bye in the Big South Championships, and they are going to match up against either UNC Asheville or Charleston Southern coming up Friday in Charlotte. And Coastal Carolina, they are going to take on Georgia Southern on Thursday in the Sun Belt Tournament. Download the Score app today, lightning fast sports alerts, so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
Have you heard all signs with Mark Ryan?
Minority head coaches have been, in fact, more.
Blah 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 blah. I'm trying to drown out the headphones. Yeah, because I don't want to mess with that potentiometer knob. Britt Baker just tweeted Detroit. Danhausen replied Detroithausen.
They had a little segment of him explaining Danhausen as Danhausen the other day, and it was hilarious. And I had a conversation about it where I told, who was I talking to at the game on Saturday? We got to talking about wrestling, and he was like, talking about Danhausen. And I'm like, yeah, this is. And he goes, well, how's he wrestle? And I went, I've never seen.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Does he actually
and there's
wrestle?
a part of me that doesn't want to. I've heard he's a great wrestler. I'll tell you something that aggravated the absolute crap out of me last night and this morning. So last night, the Zion Williamson-less New Orleans Pelicans went out to Los Angeles, California to take on Bron and the Lake Show. And Lonzo, they kicked the crap out of the Lakers. I mean, beat the hell out of the Lakers. In fact, here's how bad it was. So I get done moving last night. I'm packing my stuff up, getting ready to go, yeah. And as I'm unpacking at the house, I've got, because the girlfriend was watching whatever reality show she's watching on the main TV. And my big TV, the 60-inch is in the man cave, yeah. But it's not hooked up, right? I got it plugged in, but I don't have the Xbox plugged in, don't have the Xbox ready to go, don't have the HDMI run yet. Don't have any of that done. I'm watching the third quarter, and the Pelicans are up like 26, and the Lakers just can't do anything right. And it got so good, Lonzo, that I took all the boxes in front of the entertainment stand in the Xbox, went through them, pulled out the Xbox, pulled all the cords out, shoved the boxes to the other side of the room, and hooked up my Xbox to my big screen just so I could watch the Pelicans finish beating the hell out of the Lakers. I get it set up at the end of the third quarter, and the Lake Show are down 30 points to the Pelicans going into the fourth. 30. In an NBA game, LeBron's down 30 to my Pelicans. Sans Zion, by the way. Zion's not in this game. This is all B.I. and CJ smoking Bron. And I'm a Bron guy. I like Bron. Don't mean I don't like watching the Lakers get it kicked in. All right? So I stop what I'm doing to hook up the TV so I can watch the Lakers-Pelicans game while I work. And it gets so much fun watching this happen that I take like a 30-minute break just to watch the fourth quarter. Just to watch the demo job the Pels put on the Lake Show. And I'm texting buddies of mine, texting little brother, he's a Pelicans guy, texting Keegan, he's a Pelicans fan. Texting everybody I know that's a Pelicans fan, like, guys, if you're not watching this, my Lord, y'all missing out. B.I. and CJ are putting on a clinic right now. The boys are cooking. And it gets to the point that you know when a game gets out of hand, Lonzo, because the play-by-play announcers start talking about everything except the game, right? Richard Jefferson's on color, and the play-by-play guy, I don't remember who it was, but the play-by-play guy is like, hey, RJ, your kids are in the house tonight, right? And Richard's like, well, they were, but I sent them home. And Rich said, and I'm paraphrasing, not quoting, but Rich said something to the tune of, Lonzo, I don't want my kids watching this game and believing this is what basketball looks like.
That's a big time burn right there for sure.
It was great. It was great. They got to talking about the Lakers fans behind them that flew in from Hawaii to watch the Lakers play. And if we're being honest, probably picked that game because they thought, hey, it's New Orleans. Easy dub for Bron and the boys. Flew in from Hawaii to watch the Lakers lose 123-95 and get pushed back to 9th in the West.
I'll say, although if you're thinking that flying there, maybe you haven't been watching them play this season because there are no givens for the Lakers. They are not who they were last year, for sure.
6-14 in the last 20 of the Lakers, right? If you're an anti-Bron guy, you are just eating it like king cake right now. Loving it, right? So I'm watching this game. I'm listening to the announcers talk about the family from Hawaii and RJ talking about sending his kids home so that they don't think this is what basketball looks like. And they're talking about the flights in and out. They're breaking down the next national game on ESPN. I mean, they're talking about everything but the Pelicans just stuffing it to the Lake Show. And I get it, right? I get it. You got a limited amount of time on this game that's actually entertaining. It's not great. So that's how it works. I've been there. I've done that. I used to call play-by-play for the Northwest Florida State College Raiders, who in 2018, when I was calling their games, won the Junior College National Championship game. And in the regular seasons, though, they were winning every game by 35, 40 points with their backups in for the entire back half of the second half, right? And I can't tell you how many times me and my color guy, Jeff McDonald, started talking about everything else going on in Okaloosa County. Well, there's another three from Chris Duarte, who, by the way, plays for the Pacers now. He was on that team. Chris Duarte now with 43 points in this one. And coming up this weekend, the annual Kite Festival down at the Okaloosa County Boardwalk. I mean, everything but the game, because there's nothing to talk about in the game. It's Duarte slams, Pensacola State on offense. There's the steal, Duarte for three. Over and over and over. But
is there actually an annual kite festival?
It's huge.
Okay.
And it's kind of cool. They got like big, like gigantic octopus kites. It's really legit. So anyway, I'm watching this game. I'm watching AD look miserable on the sideline. I'm watching LeBron fuming through his beard. I'm watching Russell Westbrook not understand that a guy looking at you is not a foul, Russell. And I'm enjoying the hell out of it, right? And I'm thinking to myself, man, this is going to be great. The Pelicans just embarrassed LeBron on national television. The Pelicans took BI and CJ in the week where the discussion on every sports channel has been, is Zion going to leave the Pelicans finally? Is he going to get out of there and go somewhere he can be successful like it's the Pelicans' fault? And I'm thinking to myself, somebody has got to notice this team's not bad. They're missing the superstar, right? BI's a great player, but they're missing the superstar. They need the KD to BI's Kyrie. They need the LeBron to Brandon Ingram's Anthony Davis. They need that guy. And Zion's supposed to be that guy. And I got to think, how much good would it do for the Pelicans if Zion turned into this game where his team is demolishing the Lake Show at the Crypto.com Center by 30 going into the fourth quarter, watching BI and CJ dominate this team and going, damn, maybe we're close, right? The Pelicans are what? A half game back of the Lakers? The Lakers. They're a half game back of the Lakers now. Damn, we're close. And if I go down there and do what I know I can do, and BI and CJ keep doing what they're doing, maybe we're good. And I'm thinking this would be huge for New Orleans. It'd be huge for the Pelicans. It'd be huge for Zion, huge for BI, CJ, huge for Willie Green. And what do I hear for the back fourth quarter of this game when LeBron's getting smoked by 30? Do I hear Brandon Ingram's a great player? CJ McCollum's an all-star. These two guys together with Zion in the middle. But no, what do I hear? You know, Frank Vogel should be taking out the starters. LeBron, is LeBron going to leave LA? Could LeBron go to Cleveland? You know, LeBron loves Cleveland. It was not any disrespect to Cleveland that he left. And maybe if Bronny ends up there, maybe LeBron and Bronny could play together. How about LeBron and Bronny playing together? What would it look like if LeBron and Bron Jr. played together? What would it look like if they put... BI's knocking down threes. CJ's dribble driving and executing this entire team offense. And all they're talking about is how cool would it be to see LeBron and Bronny play? Bronny's still 3 years out from the league. And that's all they wanted to talk about. So then...
It's a star-driven league, so you're shocked that they only want to talk about the stars.
Here's what I'm shocked by. That the NBA, that the people that put the NBA on TV are so dense that they don't understand what they could be doing right now, right? They're so dense that they don't understand that if you take this team, this little old New Orleans team that was supposed to flame out without Zion this year, that is currently in a playoff spot. It's a play-in game, but they're in a playoff spot right now. They're in a playoff game right now because the play-ins are the playoffs. And they're going, wait. This team with Brandon Ingram and CJ and Jackson Hayes and Willie Green at the coach, you put Zion on this team, how good is this team? This team's a 4 seed right now.
So I forget how the new play-in thing works. I mean, last year was the first one. Right?
7 plays 10, 8 plays 9. Winners of those games move in to the lower seeded of the top 8. Bottom go up and play 1 and 2.
So right now, the Pelicans would play the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
And the Clippers would play the Lakers.
As it stands right now, right.
Yes.
Which, by the way, the Clippers beat the hell out of the Lakers like 3 nights ago, which I also sat down and watched, right? So the way that it looks right now, if these guys would be talking about what's actually happening on the floor, right? I guess this is my problem. It is a
so you want them to talk about the actual basketball,
yes,
and not the stars.
Why are we talking about LeBron and Bronny 3 years from now at length when Brandon Ingram and CJ are murdering LeBron right now?
They should be talking about how, and I've already seen this, and I don't know if you're going to bring this up, the Lakers actually talking to the fans who were booing them.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing is
yeah,
it's fading fast, and it's going to be ugly if it continues.
The sports misery of Los Angeles fans is just like honey to me. Just give it to me. Oh, do I love LA fans being all up in their feels. I love it. I love it. It's like candy.
Yeah, but they can always go Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Those real Rams fans. All right, so let me throw this. I get here to work today, right? Stayed up late watching that game. I get here to work this morning. I go down. Oh, and by the way, shit, I can say it on there, right? The news I got this morning, I can say that. Yeah.
Well, you haven't signed yet,
Right,
but I mean, it's a I believe a gentleman's agreement, a verbal contract.
Yeah.
So I would say yes.
Ladies and gentlemen of upstate South Carolina, you got me for 2 more years. Your boy is signing on the dotted line to stick around for a couple more. Me and Lonzo got at least 2 more trophies coming our way. I'm just saying. All right. I'm 1 for 2. Let's go 3 for 4. And we would have gone 4 for 4. I just wasn't here in time for the first one. So don't worry. We got you. We got you at least 2 more coming. Your boy's here for 2 more. So I come into work today. Get the good news. Go back into the office. Sit down. You know, I do most of my show prep at night, right? I do most of my show prep at night. So I sat down, did my show prep while watching the game to finish up my night last night. Come in this morning. I clean up the show in the morning. I get here between 9 and 10, and I clean up the show, get it, put on the prep sheet and all that. I'm like, all right, one more spin around ESPN and Yahoo and all my sports sites, FARC and all my sports sites. One more spin around them. And I go to ESPN. And I'm like, oh, dope. They got the score of the Pelicans-Lakers game right there. I got the headlines and then the score of the Pelicans-Lakers game. I'm like, let's go. The Pelicans finally get some front page news. And I scroll down to the score, and what are the 3 headlines on ESPN underneath the score where the Pelicans ran the Lakers out of their own building? All 3 headlines. All 3 headlines. Could LeBron leave the Lakers? Is it time to blow the Lakers up? Here you go. They're still up. Lonzo, 123.95, Pels over the Lakers. Here's what it says. The headline of the premier article about this is Lakers sink even further, booed at home in loss. Couldn't even put loss to New Orleans. So I tell you, yeah, the Lakers played bad. The Lakers played bad. I watched it. They absolutely did. But the Pelicans were shooting the damn lights out the gym. You can't even put their name in the title. Put some respect on it. Couldn't put the name in the title. Here's the headlines under that. There's 4 of them, Lonzo. Nothing goes right for the Lakers against the Pels. Stephen A. and Perk disagree on Lakers fans booing LeBron. Jay Will, the Lakers disrespected the game of basketball versus the Pelicans. And Legler, even a healthy AD can't save the Lakers. I didn't know this, Lonzo, but the Lakers just had a fun little shoot around last night and it went poorly for them, apparently. There's 5 headlines up about the Lakers losing to the Pelicans. One of them mentions the Pels, and all it is nothing goes right for the Lakers. I don't know this. I don't know if you know this. Stephen A., Perk, Legler, Windhorst, and everybody else that wrote these articles. I don't know if you know this, but the Pelicans without Zion kicked the Lakers' ass last night. Smoked them. You wonder why it is that the NBA looks the same at the end of every year? You wonder why it's the same crap all the time? It's because you have a young, upcoming, talented team with great chemistry. If you didn't hear the interview they did with CJ McCollum last night, it was awesome. CJ said, I showed up. The night I got there, me and B.I. went out to dinner with some of the boys. The next morning, me and Willie were sitting in the office talking about the future. I appreciate my time in Portland. I love my time in Portland, but this is my home now. This is where I live. I'm here to win. I'm here to go to the playoffs. B.I. said the same thing. CJ said, me and Zion, we're in touch. We're good. Soon as he's healthy, we look for it. It was phenomenal. You got a young, good, talented core guys with a bona fide star in Zion, if he can stay healthy, coming back to boost them even further. And what are we doing? The lamentation of the Lakers. Nothing went wrong for the Lakers. Why? Because the Pelicans beat them in every facet of the game, y'all.
But if Zion was there and had
They
played,
win by 50.
and they get the headline. Because they don't care about the actual basketball. They care about the stars.
Exactly right.
But you know what's
The headline is,
and I get your point.
Zion and CJ dominate LeBron.
I get your point, but the arguably the real story here is how bad the Lakers are because LeBron's on the team and arguably number 1 or number 2 on everyone's list just about of basketball players of all time. Is he fading? Is it his fault? There's so much drama. People like the drama more than the fact that the underdog whooped that butt.
Sure. And listen, Braun is to the NBA what Cam is to the Panthers, right? We bring up Cam Newton might be the quarterback for the Panthers again next year, and we get 2 emails. Metaphorically, we got a lot, but we get 2. You got Panthers fan A that goes, Cam's a cancer. I don't want him even looking at my team. And you get Carolina fan B that goes, hell yeah, Cam deserves to be the starter until he's ready to call it a career. Love that guy. LeBron's the same way. You got LeBron stands that go, Braun's the GOAT. And you got Braun haters that go, Braun sucks, right? There's no in between. So from a I need clicks point of view, I understand why every headline is about the Lakers sucking and getting it handed to them. But NBA, if you want to build the league, build the young stars. Why are you not talking about Brandon Ingram? By the way, former Laker that LeBron didn't want there anymore, and he just went there and whooped Braun's behind last night. Why aren't you talking about that? Why aren't you talking about CJ McCollum, NBA All-Star, who shows up on a new team to be the 2-piece to BI and lit the Lake show up? No. We got to talk about LeBron. And don't get me wrong, LeBron's the face of the league. Like him or hate him, he's the face of the league. He's the best player in the league, or at least over the course of his career. I don't know if he is today. One of still. But I get it. You got to talk about him. But my goodness, this is why the league does not change. Because you got this young core guys in a good New Orleans team that just pounded LeBron and the Lake Show. And all 5 articles that ESPN has on the front page, all 5 of them, Lakers sink even further, boot at home and loss. Nothing goes right for the Lakers against the Pels. Steve and Perk disagree on Lakers fans booing LeBron. The Lakers disrespected the game of basketball. And even a healthy AD can't save the Lakers. All 5 front page articles. You could have put 1 about the Pelicans. Then I wake up today, and I put this on the ESPN Upstate Twitter account, but then I wake up today and see this long damn article from Kendrick Perkins about, oh, the Pelicans need to get out of New Orleans. They need to leave. They need to go somewhere. How about go to Seattle? How about go to Vegas? You can attract young stars to Vegas and Seattle, but not New Orleans. They're disrespecting the league staying in New Orleans. Get them out of there. How about this? And hear me out. And I know that this is not as easy as it's done. I know that there's CBAs and the players union has to be on board, et cetera, et cetera. But what if, and hear me out on this, NBA, what if you stopped stacking the deck against small market teams, right? New Orleans has a population post-Katrina of about 500,000. All right, about 500,000. How many people live in New York City, Lonzo? You know off the top of your head?
1 million.
Oh, it's way more than that. Let's see. New York City population. 8.419 million. Yeah, it's a little easier to sell out Knicks games even when the Knicks suck with 8.4 mil to less than 500,000 for the city of New Orleans. But let me tell you something. Do you know what sells out arenas? It ain't population of city, though that helps. You know what sells out arenas? Winning. Winning. The Milwaukee Bucks won a title. Do you think Milwaukee is having problems selling out their arena right now? They got 594,000 people in Milwaukee. So it's about, we'll say about 100,000 more people than New Orleans. That's a small market team. But Milwaukee got very lucky. They found the diamond in the rough. They found Giannis Antetokounmpo. They found a guy who went, I don't care if it's a small market. I want to be here and I want to win here. They got lucky. I hope the Pels find that guy because I don't think it's Zion. I hope they find him. But NBA, if you stop stacking the deck against small market teams and you let small market teams have the same chance of success as major market teams, you will get better parity in the league. More people will watch the league. More people will enjoy the league and you make more money. But you guys are so wrapped up with, let's make sure LA, Chicago, New York, Boston are happy. And if those four are good, we're good. And you screw over teams like New Orleans to prop up LA. And it sucks. It sucks. Let's take a break. I'm back after this on the Rob Brown Show. It's ESPN Upstate. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate that. It's very kind of y'all.
I posted something on Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah.
A host has responded on Facebook.
Don't mind if I do. Personal page?
Yeah.
Page?
That's so perfect.
30
years ago in the Brooklyn neighborhood of Compton, a car accident set off 4 days of unrest. 2 people died, hundreds were arrested. I'm Collier Meyerson, and my new show, Love Thy Neighbor, explores what came to be known as the Crown Heights riot. It's a story about New York's first Black mayor, the rise of Rudy Giuliani, and the Lubavitch Jewish and Caribbean communities sitting at the center of it all. You can listen to new episodes of Love Thy Neighbor every week wherever you listen, or you can binge the entire series exclusively on Odyssey.
You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, but when we just come out and say it, it feels like it falls a bit flat. So we're going to tap into human emotion, first with some music. Then in a serious tone, I'll say,
By the way, yes, I know I have that power, but when you got to go when the segment has just started, probably not a good time to start playing the music.
Welcome back, everybody, and we'll be right back.
I know I could just get up and walk out, but that makes people wonder why I got up and walked out. There was one time during my weight loss where I was in the room with I think it was Greg McKinney and JC Sherbert.
Yeah.
And I just jumped up and ran out of the room and didn't tell them why. But I had lost so much weight that when I washed my hands, my wedding ring came off in the trash can. And so I was in there digging through the trash to get it because I couldn't keep the thing on. It just kept falling off.
Yeah. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is ESPN Upstate. Rob, Lonzo, you. So we found out late last week that the Southeastern Conference in the city of Greenville, South Kakalaki, have reached an agreement to bring the SEC Women's Basketball Tournament back to the G-Ville. It will start back up next year. This year, it is at the Bridgestone Arena in Nash Vegas, Tennessee. But next year and the 2 years after that, ladies and gentlemen, the SEC Women's Basketball Tournament will be right back here in the Upstate at the Bon Secours Wellness Arena in downtown Greenville. And this kind of plays into something we've been talking about the last couple of weeks. We've obviously been following the news about the Greenville Triumph's effort to get a new stadium, a multi-purpose stadium built in initially Malden, may or may not still end up in Malden if it happens at all. We're following that story for you. And when we get some new news and information, we will bring it to you. But, you know, I said 2 weeks ago when that conversation started up that to me personally, and it is a personal opinion, but me personally, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I want it to keep happening because as this community continues to grow, as this area, the upstate of South Carolina, continues to grow, as Greenville continues to grow, as Spartanburg continues to grow, and all the surrounding communities continue to grow, I want sports to grow proportionate to that, right? I want sports to grow with the city, with the community, with the upstate. I think that this place has everything that you need to make it a sports mecca. I think this place has everything that you need to make it a legendary sports community across the United States. And the Southeastern Conference deciding to bring the SEC Women's Tournament back a year after moving it is indicative that that is the case, right? The SEC is putting emphasis, most conferences are, but the SEC is putting emphasis on women's basketball. And the NCAA wants the emphasis, right? They want women's March Madness to grow to be every bit as successful as the men's. Whether it will or not, that's for future Rob to talk about. But that's what they want. This is what the SEC wants. It's what the NCAA wants. And in order to make that happen, you've got to make women's college basketball attractive both on television and as a destination. which means that you want to put it in places that people want to go. The SEC has a lot of options as to where it could put this tournament, right? The reason it went to Nash Vegas, Tennessee is because Nashville is a highly sought after vacation spot. People from around the country travel to Nashville. It is grown both as a city and as a tourist destination, and it continues to do so. They put it there because they want you, the sports fan, to look at the NCAA women's tournament and go, you know what? I may or may not ordinarily go to this tournament, but I want to go to Nashville. And this tournament's happening, so why not? Let's do it. Let's go on vacation, right? We'll take in some great college women's basketball, and we'll hit a phenomenal city on the way. The fact that the SEC looked and saw that Greenville, South Carolina has a phenomenal venue in the Well, right? Is very close to the powerhouse in women's college basketball in South Carolina, and is a vacation destination, this area. And again, think about that. You're an easy car ride from Ash Vegas. You're an easy car ride to Columbia. You're an easy car ride to Clemson. You're a half-day trip to Atlanta, to Charlotte, to Charleston, to Myrtle Beach, right? We're very central, but we got our own stuff. This city, in every mid-city ranking that is coming out in the last 10 years, Greenville's towards the top of the list all the time on all of them. This is a place people want to be, both to live and to vacation. The mountains, you got the rivers, you got you can get to the Midlands and the Lowlands of South Carolina in an easy car ride, right? You come to the tournament and your team gets bounced in day one. Cool, man. I'm going to ride over to Charleston. I'm going to ride up to Charlotte, see what that's about. Go up to Asheville and spend a few days in the upstate while I'm there. The SEC recognizes what this place is. They recognize what this place is, what this place can be. That's why it's a 3-year commitment and not just we'll be back next year, but we'll be back for the next 3 of them. They recognize what this place is and can be as a sports community. I told you guys back in the opening segment. I'll tell you again here. When I was auditioning for this job, when I was trying to talk the decision makers, Lonzo, into giving me this job, I made sure that when I got here, I put an emphasis on that. I really worked hard to make sure the people that made the decision to hire me understood that one of my priorities in life was to be well ingrained in the local sports scene, right? I want to be well ingrained in the local sports scene. I want to be seen at Triumph and Swamp Rabbits and Drives and Wofford and Furman, at Clemson, at South Carolina, at the local high schools. I want to be seen. I want to be, because the local sports matters to me. If you want this place to be a great sports community, which I do, if you want it to be a great sports community, that starts, it's just like politics. It starts at the grassroots level, right? Everybody wants to fight about the president and senators and representatives. And that's all well and Supreme Court justices, and that's all well and good. But if you want to have say over the politicians that have the most direct influence over you in your life, you vote locally, right? You vote locally. You vote for your city council. You vote for your county council. You vote for your local judges, your local sheriff. Sports is the same way. If you want outside influences to look at Greenville and go, hey, we want to be a part of that, you prove that by taking your local sports scene and making it great. You prove that by having great high school football, by having great college football. You prove that by having a great local professional soccer team that makes the championship more often than they don't. You prove that by having a great local baseball team that sells out the stadium on a game-by-game basis. You do that by having a great local hockey team that is consistently sending talent to higher level after being developed here. That's how you do it. And then the folks who make decisions for bigger leagues, for leagues that have resources to come here and put into this community, go, man, the folks in the upstate really love their sports. We think that could help us make money, put money back into the community, have a great team based in that area, et cetera, et cetera. That's why Spire came in and took over the ice, the Swamp Rabbits. That's why Joe and Doug Irwin said, let's start a soccer team here. That's why the Red Sox said, we'll build our own stadium in downtown Greenville. We want to be a part of that. It grows the community as a whole, but it's got to start at a local level. That's why we talk about it. That's why it's important. And that's why it is awesome that the work has been done. The legwork, the infrastructure was laid down, that the Southeastern Conference, who is putting an added emphasis on the women's college tournament, is looking at Greenville and going, that's where we want this tournament to be played. That's where we want LSU and South Carolina and all of our tournament teams to go be featured right there at the Well in Greenville. Because the local sports scene is great, and we know that it is going to bring attention to this sport that we care about. And that, to me, is kind of awesome. It's kind of awesome. Let's take a break. We come back. We got one more segment. Then Twitter to wrap it up. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. This is ESPN Upstate. Right?
This is the relief you've been looking for your aching knees, hips, shoulder, lower back. The unique protocols at QC Kinetics were created by a physician with years of study in regenerative restorative medicine. They're treating patients every day in hundreds of clinics nationwide with remarkable success, life-changing results with zero downtime. It's the new, better, smarter, non-surgical, non-invasive way to deal with joint pain. And yes, they're right here, ready to help you right now. Call them for a free consultation. Make this spring and summer your best ever with no joint pain holding you back. QC Kinetics in Greenville and Nashville, 864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772. QC Kinetics.
How about, so Jeter stepped away from the Marlins and he said, the vision for the future of the franchise is different than the one I signed up to lead. He just said his team sucks.
It sounds that way, yeah.
Straight Talk Wireless now has the new iPhone 13 with cinematic mode, which lets you focus on what matters. And with Straight Talk, you can focus on getting the best deal. Our Silver Unlimited plan is just $45 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. And it runs on the largest, most dependable networks. Now with nationwide 5G. With the iPhone 13 on Straight Talk, you can share whatever you want, wherever you want. Straight Talk Wireless. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
South Carolina Comic-Con now has a countdown clock on it.
Oh, really?
We are 38 days away. Which means hopefully we'll be hearing pretty soon about some guests. Hopefully said guests will be available.
I told Hendricks that we were working on getting a couple of Comic-Con guests, wrestlers, and that was a big part of the reason that we worked to get to where we could do the StreamYard Live interviews. And when I said that, his face lit up. Like he was stoked about it.
It's butterfly shrimp alongside made from scratch Texas tender. Served spicy or original for $6. Churches, welcome to the great state of flavor.
Making Moves is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs.
While the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team gold medal victory is known as the miracle
That's exactly what I'm going with. All right, bring the thing back because you already got it up there. Prism in the next break.
Man, I didn't plan on doing anything about this because nobody cares. But I just found the quote. Now I have to.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares, Derek. Derek Jeter stepped down as the CEO or whatever he was of the Miami Marlins Major League Baseball team. Which is, right in this time during the bargaining and all that, kind of interesting timing. Very, very random that he just on a random Monday was like, and I quit. Right? Like he just Antonio Browned the Marlins, but kept his shirt on.
So there isn't something that happened that made him go, you know what? I'm out. See ya.
Here's the thing. Now that I read this quote, I think there absolutely is, right? He said, when he was asked about why he's parting ways with the Miami Marlins, he said, quote, "The vision for the future of the franchise is different than the one I signed up to lead. Now is the right time for me to step aside as the new season begins." Now, I've been doing this job for 15 years now. I've done this job for 15 years now. Lonzo, I'm pretty good at breaking down coach speak, and I'm pretty good at breaking down player speak, right? Coaches and players use cliches to hide their true intention, but they often betray it because the cliches mean something. The vision for the future of the franchise is different than the one I signed up to lead. In administration talk means everybody else is making stupid ass decisions and I'm tired of it. That's what it means. It means the front office is inept and I, Derek Jeter, Hall of Famer, baseball legend, a guy with rings, cannot influence it for the better. I'm out. Imagine being a Miami fan today, hearing Derek Jeter say this quote and thinking your team is going to be at all competitive. They made a run a few years ago. They fire sailed the entire roster to get the payroll down to make more money to ride the World Series high. And it's been this way ever since. And DJ was like, nope, everything about this franchise sucks. I'm out.
Or maybe he saw the writing on the wall and knows there's not going to be a baseball season and he needed to find something to do.
I mean, maybe. Like maybe he's going to go.
When was that deadline?
Sleep his way through 25-year-old Hollywood actresses again. I get it. Oh, when's the deadline?
Yeah, he rested.
2 hours and 15 minutes from now.
Okay, he rested for a while, so now he's ready to get back in there. So
the stamina monster's back. DJ, in the most administrator talk that's ever been talked, said, "The team sucks. The people running the team suck. Everything about this situation sucks. Screw you guys. I'm going home."
I think he just stood up abruptly and threw his pen across the room or something like that.
The ultimate mad Lonzo.
Probably would still have some zing to it. So
yeah.
Yeah.
He'd plant a bic through the back wall of the office if he wanted to. The ultimate mad Zoe. Mad is, this is dumb. This is dumb and I quit. That's mad. Ultimate mad is this, Lonzo. Have a good day. And walking out. That's ultimate mad. That's ultimate mad. And I got a feeling, because this is a cool, calm quote, right? Like, there's nothing in this quote.
We'll see if we reach that after 2 more years with me. At some point.
Angry is, I don't understand the direction of this franchise. I don't agree with it. It's a bad direction, and I'm out. That's mad.
A lot of these things always seem to be one-sided, and you automatically want to side with the guy who's doing it originally, like with Jeter. But maybe we find out there's more to it.
I mean, maybe, but here's the thing: benefit of the doubt in situations is given or rewarded based on past behavior, right? Whether or not you get the benefit of the doubt, you have to have created doubt in order to get the benefit of it. The Marlins have never created a situation where I'm like, there's some doubt to give them the benefit of. No. The Marlins got a ring, fire sailed the team, and have not tried since then. They haven't tried. So they had one good run in the East, 2 seasons ago? before they got dropped at the end. And outside of that, they haven't even tried. So, you know, you put it this way. You got to have done something real questionable for me to go, I'm on Derek Jeter's side. I'm on DJ's side here. Man, I got to tell you, I've never been more happy to be a World Series champion. I mean, I'm not. My team is, but you get it. Imagine waking up today and having a freaking legend in MLB, the guy that was supposed to be the brain that fixed your club, go, nope, everything is broken, and the people calling the shots are idiots. I'm out. I'm out. The harshest breakup you'll ever have is when she looks at you and goes, you know what? It's not you, it's me. Because you know she's lying. It ain't her, it's you. And she doesn't even care enough to tell you what it really is. I've been broken up with, this is going to shock you, Lonzo, a lot in my life.
No way.
A lot. So I'm 37 and just found the person, right? Been broken up with a lot. And there's different ways you break up. I've gotten the ghost breakup before where they just stop responding to you, which is awkward, but you can put it on them, right? Like, oh, well, she's just a terrible person. And it's easy. I've gotten the breakup of, hey, listen, we're not compatible because of X, Y, and Z. And it took me a little while to realize that, but this is the way I want to live my life, and you're not wanting to live your life that way, so we just need to split. And I appreciate that, okay? Cool. Thanks for letting me know. And then there's the worst breakup, which is, Rob, we're done. Bye. But why? It's not you. It's me. Bye. That's the worst. Jeter just, it's not you. It's me, the Marlins, except for he said, it's not me. It's you. And then walked out the door. Love the drama. Love the drama. Back after this to wrap it up with Twitter trending topics on the way out the door. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's ESPN Upstate.
Prisma.
And then mostly sunny on Tuesday with a high around 65. I'm meteorologist Nick Carlisle on ESPN Upstate. Right now it's 57.
ESPN Upstate. No matter where the ball bounces, we've got your hookup on your radio at 97.7 FM in Greenville and 97.1 FM in Spartanburg. On your computer at ESPNUpstate.com. On your phone or tablet on the Odyssey app. On your Amazon smart speaker. ESPN Upstate. And on your HD radio at WFBC HD3. At home, in the car, in the office. So many ways to get in the game with ESPN Upstate. All sports 24/7 for Upstate, South Carolina. If you're looking for a new job with great pay and benefits, Auto Kineton is for you. Formerly Tower International, Auto Kineton is hiring with a $500 to $2,000 sign-on bonus. They are looking for second and third shift production technicians with starting pay at $16.80 an hour and maintenance technicians with $15.50 an hour. Rate increases after 90 days. Don't miss their hiring events every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Under pressure. Why so much doom and gloom today? Did you lose your Wordle streak?
I did not lose my Wordle streak. I'm at 53. 53 in a row, right there. Boom. 53 played, 53 won. I kept the word covered in case anybody hasn't played it yet. I didn't even play the audio.
I've been asked why I don't play.
Wordle?
And it's because it's popular. That, and there's the fact that if you play, then you feel the need to post. And if you post and you don't do as well as the, person sitting across from you, it's, Actually, I just only play one game on my phone, so there's that.
Every online visit is free, and your relationship right back on track. For a free online consultation, go to forhims.com/joy. That's forhims.com/joy for your free visit. forhims.com/joy.
So the cleaning service was in Saturday night, and I was challenged to a game of Mortal Kombat by one of the. It's like I don't have that. It's like, if you did, I'd whip your butt out. I was like, yeah, you probably would. Because even the cleaning crew knows that it's the coolest office in the building. They actually take special care with it, which I appreciate.
When the prospect of divorce becomes a reality, you need a partner that you can count on. If you're a man in this situation, consider contacting Cordell & Cordell. We've helped men navigate complex legal matters for 30 years. Contact Cordell & Cordell.
Somebody just put a list of the released wrestlers that are still in the WWE 2K game.
Yeah.
Alexander Wolf, Arya Davari, Billy Kay, Braun Strowman, Brian Kendrick, Cesaro, Danny Burke. By the way, Cesaro, what a bad decision. I mean, he won it out, but still.
All right, time for Twitter trending topics where I tell Rob what is trending on the internet, and he will tell us.
Can I brag real quick? Texture says, why so much doom and gloom today? Did you lose your Wordle streak? No, I did not. 53 consecutive. 53, come at me, bro. Okay, continue.
I like how Rob says, can I, as if I would say no, and then he would just go, okay.
I mean, I know my place in the hierarchy, Lonzo, and it's at the bottom.
Yeah, well, and I'm below that, wherever that is. All right, the first thing that's trending is Anthony Mackie and Jensen Ackles.
Anthony Mackie, of course, New Orleans' own, and the portrayer of Falcon. No idea why they're trending, though.
They are co-kings of Bacchus. Is that how you say it?
Bacchus. Okay, so Bacchus is it's Mardi Gras weekend. Tomorrow is Mardi Gras Day, Fat Tuesday, and this past weekend. So the Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
For
Sunday.
some of you, it's just Tuesday.
For some of you, Tuesday. For those of us that enjoy life, tomorrow's Fat Tuesday.
Yeah, I was talking about them.
Which, by the way, Zoe,
still just.
I am bringing
Tuesday.
you tomorrow a special treat.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
All right, fine. I won't. More king cake for me.
No, I want you to. You've talked to me before. I have no idea what's in king cake, but I know people are really, okay.
Now this one got here Friday, so it's not going to be like perfectly fresh, but it's still delightful. So
do you need it right when it comes? Does it come out of the oven? Is it made in the oven?
It's best right. I mean, not like hot right out of the oven. Like it's good within the first two. This one got here Friday, so it's a couple of days old, but it's still delicious. But so anyway, there are Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday are when the parades you see in the movies from every time they do stereotypical Mardi Gras scene for New Orleans. The parades that
The
they
March
film
of
those
the
at,
Dead or whatever.
well, kinda similar.
Well, in the
But what-
movies, it always looks like it's the
Right.
March of the
But
Dead.
it's those big parades. Those were all over the weekend. Bacchus is one of the big ones, and usually they invite celebrities to be the grand marshal of the parade. So you'll get athletes and actors and movie stars.
Yeah,
and
there are
politicians
pictures
and
of them
whatnot.
dressed up and they're wearing a crown.
Oh,
and
yeah.
everything. It looks really cool.
Yeah, it's a big deal. So congratulations, because that's I got invited this weekend. I'm actually going to ride in a Mardi Gras parade in New Orleans next year. Pretty stoked about it. So I will not be here Mardi Gras weekend next year.
Okay.
Go ahead and put that on the books. I
But-
will be here though, because
Yeah, I was gonna say, but you will be
2 more
here.
years out of your
So
boy.
there's that.
Yep.
Let's see. We have time for one more. The NFL Combine.
So really interesting. A couple of the quarterbacks have elected not to throw at the combine. I saw earlier today that Kenny Pickett is not going to throw it, which is kind of an interesting decision for a quarterback to not throw at the combine. But also, it's the other thing. You go in there and you have a crap combine. Not that it erases what you did in college, but it certainly hurts you, right? And considering there are question marks about how many of the quarterbacks are going to be first-round picks, Kenny Pickett laid some good tape down at Pitt. He don't want to go in there and blow it by collapsing under pressure in front of scouts. So it kind of makes sense. It's a gamble, right? But there's also going to be teams that go, we want a quarterback who knows how he can handle the pressure, and this is the job interview, right? If a guy said to you, I'm a really great applicant, but I'm not going to do a job interview, kind of a black mark, right? That's it for us. Mark Ryan and Diesel up next. We're back tomorrow to Try Harder on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. Later, brother.